Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. It's Erik Nagel, and that is me. The phone number is 866-969-1969 if you wish to get in touch with us here at the program. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Matt O.G. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
As good as one can be for this September 11th.
Yes, well, it is a somber day in that regard.
And a very busy day here in New York City.
Absolutely.
As I was coming in, there's news organizations parked at every firehouse around Manhattan. I'm sure in Brooklyn and Queens as well, Jersey City, all the hot spots for all the people who were involved with the events of September 11th.
And it was actually very busy by my home, too. Where I am in New Jersey, there's a really big, we actually overlook the towers right by where I live, and there's a huge memorial up there.
So there was the teardrop one?
It's at the top of Eagle Rock Reservation. Okay. I don't think it's the teardrop one, but they have the beautiful sculpture and a whole big, this whole long wall with all of the names engraved on it. I mean, it used to be a great lookout point. And so there were like local news crews there all day too, and lights, and it was quite the hullabaloo.
Yeah, there's going to be the big gathering down at the 9/11 Memorial, and for the lights that have been up, I think for the past couple of days, there's a big ceremony that's been going on all day where they read the names, and then tonight with the lighting, the memorial is open for free. The museum, is open for free for anybody who wants to go down there and check it out. I do recommend that you do so if you're in the area. It's not just something for New York; it's something for United States history, world history. It's a big deal, to say the least.
Yeah.
The craziest part about today, at least as far as social media was concerned, I am still shocked by how many conspiracy theorists are still out there.
You still see
really?
And still choose to use today. I don't know why I'm shocked. I said that.
Man.
I don't know why I'm amazed.
Is
that
loose change still up and around?
I'm sure it is.
Absolutely.
Well, there was a time when I used to drink at the Patriot Saloon, which is down not far from the World Trade Center site, and it's like a big firefighters bar and stuff like that. And we would get conspiracy theorist people who would come into the bar and argue with firefighters and cops that it didn't happen. And you're like, dude, we're 10 blocks from it. It's still a smoking rubble. What are you talking about? And one time there was a German guy and there's it was all a hologram. I'm like, dude, there is no way that it was a hologram. You can walk 10 blocks and see that it was not a hologram. And it was just crazy. And I didn't understand the nerve of people to come into a bar in New York City 10 blocks from there and talk like that. It's really, dude?
It's really, the part that amazes me, I guess maybe it's not that they have the beliefs, and clearly, people are assholes, so that's part of it. But I don't think they consider how rude and inconsiderate it is to people who actually may have lost somebody that day. I had family that were firefighters that day that unfortunately didn't make it out. So and I don't hang my hat on that or anything. Yeah, I had my whole family from Staten Island. There was a lot of firefighters and EMTs, and I had family down there, and I had a cousin who was involved from Staten Island, and he passed away. But
I was not aware of that.
Wow.
But and it doesn't bother me. I'm thick-skinned and I don't care about it. But to other people, it's really sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
It's also just so dumb that people think they watched a 1-hour special and they know more than everyone else.
Yeah.
They're like, we watched one thing on YouTube and we know.
We know everything.
Everything that everyone says is a lie.
Thermite paint.
Well, before we get into the rest of everything here and what's going on the show here, I also want to introduce Gittles is over there that you've been hearing, and also Alli Breen is sitting in today.
Yes.
Hey.
Welcome back to the show, Alli.
Thanks so much for having me.
What a great topic to start off with for an entertainment show. But you have to.
Look, it's relevant.
Yeah.
It happened.
It is.
And and we would be remiss at least if we didn't mention it, and we don't have to dwell upon it, but there it is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, though, because I saw so many news vans parked out in front of these firehouses.
Sure.
It's nice that they're remembering the people, but when does it become too much? Too much coverage on it, not in a bad way. I'm saying there's a line between being sincere with it and maybe exploitive with the coverage.
I think exploitive happens when it becomes the only thing in the news for the entire day. On my drive leaving work tonight, every radio station was still talking about it, taking callers and stuff like that. And that every show all day long has been doing that all day long. Look, you want to have the memorial in the morning, you have the service, the news wants to cover that, obviously that makes sense, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, around 10 o'clock when you're done with your moment of silence and all that stuff, I think you can just let the day kind of happen.
Go on,
you know?
And the vendors are probably a little bit exploitative where you're
I'm
starting
sure.
to see every vendor selling all 9/11.
For the last several years, I've kind of checked out as far as the coverage on this day.
Sure.
So I'm not overly familiar if they're still doing this, so I'm going to play a little bit ignorant on this. Are they still showing any of the footage? Are any of the news channels still showing that?
I didn't see any of the footage today. All I really heard was like stories. You know, it was where were you and who did you lose and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see any of the footage, but I also wasn't watching the news. I was listening more to.
And they used to, well, they still do. They have the, starting early in the morning, the reading of the names.
Sure.
Which I think is important, and it helps a lot of the families and the people who were involved. Even 14 years later, this is still something important to those people, and I get that. But they don't cover it like they used to anymore. It used to be on every news channel, then it was on all the local channels. Maybe one of the national channels would have it, and now they don't even show the whole thing anymore. So is it going to get to the point where they just don't even cover it other than it's going on next in sports, you know?
I think as long as it continues to go on, there will be some form of coverage for it.
There's always going to be coverage for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're right. It's not going to get the national attention that it did, you know,
it'll be like what D-Day is now. You know, we're like, oh, all right, we remember that date, but it's not a huge all-day thing.
Because I just don't know what is, legitimate coverage and what is, maybe this is the wrong term, but rubbing salt in the wound, where families are still dealing with this and still being reminded. They know it happened and they're grieving and they've moved on and still remember, but to keep recreating that.
I think that's case by case, because I think some families are probably like, listen, we don't need to relive this every year. But then, God forbid you don't do it. Some families are like, how dare you forget
you're not
my loved one
memorializing
who passed away. So it's like, I think that's a case by case basis. That's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Well, there was an article on Gothamist today. It was kind of like saying what you're saying, like, well, we have to get to a time where we have to just move on and not just have this day of mourning, because every day, every year on 9/11, it's just basically the terrorists can sit back and be like, look how miserable we're making Americans today.
Of course.
And we have to get to the point where we can move on and stuff. And no joke, the first two comments were someone who survived the World Trade Center was like, you know what, for the first 8 years or so, I mourned and it was horrible, and now I buy a lottery ticket and I think how lucky I am and I move on. And the next person down's like, fuck you, my family members died here. How dare you say you were buying lottery tickets to be lucky? So it's you get that you get that difference between people.
Deal differently.
Everyone deals differently.
This is it's not a bit, but it's just out of my own curiosity, because I was not aware that you had family that didn't survive 9/11. Can I ask where you were when it was happening? What was going on?
For me personally, I work in the port of Elizabeth for my full-time job, and actually my office at the time was directly across the water from the building. So I pulled into the parking lot that morning as the first plane hit, and I was standing on the outside roof of the building watching as the second plane hit. And I mean, I could see it all. I didn't need binoculars. I could see it clearly when it happened. Yeah, I was right there. And actually, because of where I worked, it was very scary. And again, I don't want to make a bit out of it or whatever. It was really scary because, I work in the port. And so now they start thinking about other targets, and they start thinking about vessels coming in from other areas of the world. We were swarmed by Customs, Coast Guard. I had to be evacuated off the terminal by armed personnel, and I wasn't allowed back at work for at least a week.
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty intense for me personally in that regard.
Well, the ports became a military zone, right?
For a little bit, they used it as kind of like a base of operations to do some stuff again, because it was directly across. They used it to house a lot of supplies when firefighters needed water and masks and stuff like that. They were putting it there and stuff like that, but they weren't letting ships into port. They weren't, you had to have high ranking status to even come close to the port. So, so for me, it was, I kind of really lived it in that regard, but. Yeah.
Gittles, where were you?
I was in Buffalo. I was in school. I mean, I had just gotten back the day before because I was up in Canada for a BMX bike competition that my friend was in, and we actually were thinking about staying the night there. I'm like, we'll just drive back, and luckily we did, because we would have been stuck in Canada for probably 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because they shut down all the borders and everything like that. So it was pretty crazy. But I think my dad told me, because my dad works for the USDA, that he was supposed to be at the World Trade Center that day for a meeting, and he woke up late and just didn't make it, and just luckily he woke up late that day.
I didn't know that either. And I've known Brian's family for more than 20 years, and I wasn't aware of that. Jeez. Alli, where were you?
I was in the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx with my roommate, who was an ex-Playboy playmate, who was a little nuts. And she'd come home really late, and she was still drunk in the morning, and she knocked on my door and didn't even open it. And she said, "You might want to wake up. We're under terrorist attack." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So yeah,
like, I'm kicking this bitch out of the apartment. I'm tired of her shenanigans.
It was insane. So yeah, I went in her room and we just watched TV all day and like tried to call home and all the phones were blocked. And we actually had a bunch of friends come up because people who lived close to it who were getting evacuated. The Bronx was like a whole nother state. You know, it wasn't like anything was happening up there.
Right.
So yeah, people came and hung out with us and we just watched TV and it was, you know, just crazy.
Lewis,
so terrible.
Lewis, what about you?
I was actually in homeroom senior year of high school. We were just basically sitting in class, and the teacher kind of made it seem like it was just a propeller plane. And then after a while, she's like, "No, this is big."
All right, see, this is interesting because everybody I've talked to about this was working somewhere or not in New York or whatever.
Right.
But you were in school, so this is a whole new dynamic. So when this starts happening, they realize that the first plane hit, and then the second one hit. Do they close the school? Do they keep you in school and not let you out? What do they do?
After the second plane hit, they let us out. But the first thing that the teacher said was, "Does anyone have any family members that work at Port Authority or that work in the city? Come with us to the principal's office." But she didn't say anything.
Do me a favor, just bring your mic level up a little bit. It's a little bit low.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, that was about it. She didn't really say anything. A couple kids in the class, their face just went completely white.
Oh, jeez.
They left.
Wow.
One girl actually did end up losing her father, and they couldn't find him. There's no record of him at all from my high school. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when they let them out of school, like, how was it 9 through 12, 10 through 12 for your high school?
9 through 12.
9 through 12, okay. Most of these kids aren't driving. So what do these kids do when they open up the school and they just say, "Go home"?
I'm sure the parents, I mean, in that kind of case, but
you don't know because a lot of parents work in the city or something like that.
Well,
so,
sure, yeah, I mean.
So what do the kids do?
I'm sure they had staff that stayed if they had to. I mean, you're getting into the technicalities of it, but I'm sure if they weren't like sending kids traipsing through. Where do you live in the ghettos of New Jersey, right?
Get on the subway.
I was in Middlesex, New Jersey.
Yeah, so
our graduating class is 110 people.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So we didn't really have a bus system.
You could have walked to the local pizza shop. You'd have been fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just to let you know, E-Rock, really quick.
Yeah.
MSNBC actually plays the events as they happened in real time. Every 9/11 on the news.
What good does that do, though?
No one. It's tragedy porn.
I mean, archiving the footage.
Exactly what it is.
If you need to see it, it's available on YouTube or somewhere that you can get it. But what's the point of broadcasting it over and over again?
It's hard because where do you draw the line? Like at some point it becomes historical, right?
Right.
And you have that interest in watching it, like the same way you watch, Civil War for the billionth time when it comes on the History Channel,
but
right?
That's generations removed.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know where that line is. Like, are they doing it now so that there's never a gap for the future? Are they doing it now because it gets ratings? I mean, I don't know anybody that actually sits and watches it. I'm assuming someone does, but I don't know anybody that actually. I can't watch it. I have no interest in watching it.
No, I mean,
that's like when it comes across your Facebook feed. It's just like a picture of the explosion. It's like never forget, and you're like, dude, I don't want to watch this
all day. My entire Instagram feed all day today, and Facebook and Twitter was like all just pictures, and it's like
remember, don't ever forget, and that's see, it's hard to comment on that too, because some people are actually doing it for legit reasons. Other people are doing it because everyone else is doing it, and then you could be there and it's like, I don't want to see this. I'm trying to put it out of my head.
I'm not knocking anybody
but
that
I can't
posts it.
I can't go through my day looking at this.
I'm not knocking anybody that posts it. They might have their own reasons for posting it. For me personally, I just don't want to see it all day long. Yeah. I just have no interest in reliving any of the experience of that day or week or whatever it was. Like, I just don't want to think about it.
Years ago, like 9 or 10 years ago, I went to the Holocaust Museum in D.C. with my sister and her family. And there was a sign in the front saying that the curator for the Holocaust Museum had left to go head up the 9/11 memorial. Can you think of a more depressing career path?
Yeah, jeez.
Oh my God. Like, can you imagine?
What are you doing?
Should be the face of Zoloft.
Yeah. Memorial of just disaster.
Yeah, I'm just really, that's my niche.
Yeah, I really specialize in human tragedy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, but people can deal, some people really can deal well with tragedy, and other people, I can't see it all the time either, but some people can really process it.
I guess some people can just remove themselves and just look at the factual or the historical value of it maybe, and nothing else. I would think especially if you have no direct tie to it, it would be much easier to do that.
Do you want to take a couple calls on this?
If you want.
To be honest, I didn't hear a lot of shows covering this, and I'm not saying we're going to spend the show doing that, but, for the time being right here, we have a guest at 7:30, so we got a little bit of time here. Let's talk to some people.
Sure.
Robbie in California. Robbie? Oh, why is this not working? Hold on one second. Let's try this and see.
Just tragedy after tragedy.
Yes. Let's try this, see if this works. That's not the right line either. Final try. Robbie in California. Robbie?
Hi.
There it is. How are you?
Happy 9/11.
Okay.
I was listening earlier and heard you guys talking about, how annoying truthers are. And I would definitely agree that, there was a swath of truthers on the streets of New York and obviously all over the internet too that were very annoying and, were perceived as crazy, understandably. But there's another side of it which I think just people should know about, which is there's a lot of people, who don't even call themselves truthers because of the sort of negative association with it now, that actually do feel like there are still a lot of unanswered questions about 9/11. And there's a new thing that's kind of in the news right now about the what's called the redacted 28 pages from the 9/11 Commission report that supposedly shows that Saudi Arabia was behind the funding of the 9/11 attacks. And, things like that I think are still important to, try to figure out the truth on. And I just wanted to throw that out there that, not all truthers are, batshit crazy people.
Well, so my comment on that quickly is, if there is something like that, and whomever it was that was actually behind it outside of our own government, right? Because that's the part that really kind of gets me. If it was some other country, wherever it was, and that's their opinion, whatever, that's there. But it's really the people that are like, we did this to our own government, blew up the buildings, and the planes didn't bring down the buildings. Yeah. It was TNT in the walls, and jet fuel doesn't melt steel. Those people just drive me nuts, and they're insulting to me.
One of the more interesting ones was that they timed the planes with a controlled demolition explosion, so that the planes would cover it, and then it was all that is way too much coordination.
Absolutely,
it's just like
I can't get the government, and this is hacky, to pave the road on time or to take care of anything else that they're financially responsible for within a reasonable amount of time. How are they going to put all that together and nobody knows it?
It's insulting to everybody involved, in my personal opinion. I see you have a special caller over there.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a moment here. Thank you, Robbie, for your call.
It's just like, how many people would you'd have to keep quiet to. That's just it's so stupid.
The level of coordination, I said, it's insane. No one can time that perfectly.
George Bush choked on a pretzel and they couldn't even hide that. It's like, come on.
I feel
the mastermind behind this attack.
Let's say hi to our friend and yours, and like him on Facebook if you would do me a kindness, Club Soda Kenny. Club Soda Kenny, how are you?
Hi, Erik Nagel.
Hi, Kenny.
I always listen to It's Erik Nagel.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
I always tell everybody to like Club Soda Kenny on Facebook.
I'm very likable.
Yes.
Hi, Alli Breen.
Hi, Kenny. How are you?
That's why I was compelled to call to say hello to you.
I miss you. I'm glad you called.
All right. How's things?
Things are good. How's things with you?
I'm amazed that you're on the radio again. I'm so happy.
Thanks, Kenny.
Erik knows talent when he sees it.
Well, thank you, Kenny. I do appreciate that.
Well, you do a good show, Erik. That's why I listen every Friday night.
Thank you very much, sir. And you should listen to us next Friday night when we move to our new time slot.
That's right.
At 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time.
Indeed.
And then what time are you done?
We are done at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Well, after your show, you could come hang at Caroline's on Broadway with Mr. Norton.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, it's a date.
Okay, I will be there. Everybody, please like Club Soda Kenny on Facebook. It is definitely worth your time, and he posts very amusing anecdotes.
He does.
Wait, I'm not done yet. Are you dismissing me?
No, I was just getting a plug in for you.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that. But, tonight on The Late Show is another one of our friends.
On Late Show with Stephen Colbert?
Yes.
Who?
Amy Schumer.
Very nice. Were you there for the taping?
Yeah, we just left.
Oh, how did she do?
Terrific. And you want to know who the second guest is?
Who would that be?
Stephen King.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good get.
Yeah.
He's very scary.
Yes. Did you get a photo with him?
I don't take photos. It's not professional.
Oh, okay. But I was just saying, that would probably get all the likes up on your Facebook if you have stuff like that.
Yeah, but just the power of your show by plugging it,
right?
I'm sure I'm going to get an enormous amount of more likes.
Okay. Kenny, there's somebody else on the line who wants to say hello to you, and that would be another comedian, Rich Voss. Rich, how are you?
How's it going? I love doing throughway calls, and I love when Kenny opens for me.
Richard, where are you, Richard?
I'm driving into New York right now to get ready for my show tomorrow night at the Holiday Inn in Clinton. I'm going to the stand to practice for my show tomorrow night in Clinton, New Jersey at the Holiday Inn. But Eric,
who are you working for, Joey Novick?
Let's not get crazy. It's just I'm doing a local gig because I didn't feel like traveling this week.
Okay.
So I didn't want to travel, so I took something local instead of staying in the
maybe I'll come see you because I'm home tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got tons of new material, and it's you'll be in one of the 30 people.
There'll be more than that.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Look, it's whatever. It'll be fun. But I do have to say this, Eric. People that say never forget and bring it up, this and that, because in this country, people do. There's Holocaust deniers. There's people that are so PC that want to bury the truth of, who did this to us. It won't happen again. So you can't forget. So it doesn't happen again. So people are more aware in life.
So by showing the footage like that every year is to keep people remembering what happened?
No. I'm saying, well, to some extent, some footage, yes, for a 10 or a 12-year-old to learn about history. But I'm talking about people on Facebook that say never forget or this and that. This country tries to be, how politically correct we are and how we try to appease everybody.
Right.
So, the bottom line is who did it, why they did it, because they hate this country, they hate Israel. And it's not all of those people, but yeah, there has been attacks since then that have been derailed because people are more aware, because the FBI, the CIA, and our intelligence is more aware. Don't think we don't, know everything that's going on, because you can ask, we don't know everything. We don't know how many attacks that have been, have been derailed since then. We do know some, but I'm sure there's been a lot more. I hate being political on my way to New York to practice for tomorrow night at the Holiday Inn. Does that make a little sense to Kenny? Kenny, what's your opinion on that?
Yes, terrorism is worse than ever.
Very well put, Kenny.
Well,
that
there
sums
it
it up.
is. That's it in a nutshell.
Kenny breaks it down. That's why I like to go see Kenny speak when he does lectures, because you only have to plan 5 or 7 minutes, and then you're out of there.
Right. And you can get on with the rest of your evening.
Yes, it's perfect. Your show is great, Alli. I'm pleased to hear you again on the show.
Thanks, Rich.
Last time I tried to call in the mountains, I've been around a while, and Alli used to always hit on me, and I said, look at Alli, you're too young. do your comedy thing.
Allie, he's a married man.
I know. No, I've known Rich for a long time. Yeah, I used to hit on him big time. Not at all. You guys don't listen to him.
I believe him.
Not at all. I knew him when he met Bonnie.
All right, Rich, we got to move on. Give out the plug again. Where are you going to be?
I forgot. Oh, it's at the.
There we go. Kenny, thank you so much, Kenny, for calling in. Like Club Soda Kenny on Facebook, and if you can, and become friends with Kenny. He's definitely worth having on your Facebook timeline.
Sure.
Yes.
Eric, what about a plug for Alli Breen? Where's she going to be performing?
I'm going to be at the Comedy Mix Vancouver next week and Bonkers in Indianapolis the week after that.
Wow, what an eclectic mix.
Yes, it is.
All right, safe travels.
All right, Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Everybody.
You too, Kenny.
Thank
Take care,
you,
and I'll
Kenny.
see you on Monday. Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that's all we can do right now with the 9/11 stuff. Thanks
Sure.
to Rich Voss and Club Soda Kenny for calling in. We do have some guests that we have to get to today, and one of them is on hold. And we haven't even announced that, so I'm going to have to announce what we're doing here.
Yeah, do it.
Our next guest on the show here directed and wrote a movie called Turbo Kid.
Yes.
And from the gist of it, I guess it's Mad Max on bikes.
That's basically it.
And
With kids.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
this was a
awesome.
this was a project that Gittles brought to my attention here, and he's like, "You got to watch this movie. This is amazing." He was all about it, and then I was like, "Okay, I'll take a look." And then within hours, Brian's like, "I've made contacts with the camp over there. I'm talking to the producers. I'm talking to directors. Do you want to have them on?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's see what they want to talk about." "Oh, it's already booked. I got it." I was like, "Wow, I've never seen Gittles move this fast on something."
I like my grindhouse movies.
You do. So with that being said, let's go to the phone, and hopefully I'm going to get this name right, because I have a tendency not to do this right. It's Yoann-Karl. Is it Whissell?
Whissell.
Whissell.
Yeah, that was close enough. That was perfect, even.
Okay.
There you
Good.
go.
And, with my two directing partners, Anouk Whissell and my sister, and François Simard, my brother-in-law.
Oh, awesome. Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you?
It's like, hey, everybody, let's FaceTime.
I know, this would be so great with FaceTime right now.
So let's talk about the story here about Turbo Kid. Now, this was a movie that was funded. It was Indiegogo, right?
No, actually, we're having an Indiegogo campaign right now.
Okay, that's where...
It was financed by government bodies in Canada and New Zealand.
All right. Where's the link that people can go check this out? We'll get that out, right out the bat here.
You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Vimeo. You can you can find it in theater. If you join our Facebook page, Turbo Kid, you'll find a link to be able to find it.
Okay.
Cool. So you guys started this off. This was like the short, the T for Turbo. Now, was that a project that you were trying to make for the ABCs of Death movie that came out as like a segment for it, or was this just separate and happened to like be a similar theme?
No, we wanted to make it for the ABCs of Death. ABCs of Death left the letter T in their first year to the public, and you would make a short, people would vote, and then there was a jury, and blah, blah, blah. You would get into the film. We made Tears for Turbo for that contest, and we ended up first in the public vote, which was pretty awesome, but we didn't make it into the feature. But Ann Timpson, the producer of ABCs of Death, wrote to us and said, "Do you want to turn that short film into a full feature?" So we said no. And no, we said yes, and that was a great opportunity for us to push further that vision, and we did.
That's awesome. And how was it like working with Ann Timpson? I know he's been pretty big in like the grindhousey world here, doing a lot of producing rather. I know he has Deathgasm coming out, which is like a heavy metal like sci-fi type horror movie. And I also noticed the little nod to ABCs of Death in the opening title sequence of Turbo Kid.
Yes.
The little letters next to the viewfinder pieces, which is very nice.
Well, we had to, because ABCs of Death is one, an amazing series of film, an anthology film. Two, it's what brought us all the producers and everybody together, which it's really important to us. And working with Ann, it's almost not working with Ant. Ant is an amazing person, and we've become very, very close friends throughout the process. So I don't know. I think it's like working with a brother. So it was a ton of fun.
That's awesome. And I also noticed that you had Jason Eisner on as a producer on this, and he's known also for Hobo with a Shotgun and other segments from VHS2.
Probably the best title of a B movie ever made.
That's great.
Yeah. And I also noticed some similarities between Skeletron's mask and the Plague from Hobo with a Shotgun. So I don't know if there's any coordination there, or maybe we'll get like an origin story.
A side story of the Plague versus Skeletron in their own movie would be amazing,
right? I think they're the perfect combination, because you got the Plague with their awesome. I guess you would call it hanging rope guns or whatever they're called when they're in that hospital scene, and then you got Skeletron, who's got the cool buzzsaw arm that he could shoot the blades out of people. It's pretty great.
Oh man, that battle would be epic. It would be the ultimate battle that would destroy the rest of the world.
You'd probably run out of fake blood by the end of that.
Yeah.
So was this whole movie just shot in pretty much one location in a rock quarry?
Most of it was. We also filmed into an old abandoned warehouse. But most of it was filmed in the old abandoned quarry in Montreal.
Awesome.
We had to be clever. It was not a big place, but we make it feel, we try at least to make it feel that it was a big universe. It was a very tough shoot from time to time because of the weather. We had, you're in the United States, so I don't know what's the difference in Fahrenheit. I don't understand Fahrenheit, I'll admit it. But it was a minus 10 Celsius, so I think it's 0 in Fahrenheit. I believe.
Sure, let's just go with it. Look, we're in America. We don't get science either.
Yeah, we're not smart.
If it's not on Discovery Science Channel, we'll just say yes.
It was really cold. Just go with that.
Okay, so for the listeners who are listening who haven't seen the movie, how can you sell it to them? Because I'm very bad at giving out spoilers in every description. So I would like to hear from you.
When he dies at the end, you got to see this.
Because
what?
I want to say it's like, it's a post-apocalyptic friendship love story almost. But
I thought it was Mad Max meets Rad.
It's pretty awesome.
It is. It's a love letter to the movie we grew up with. It's BMX Bandit. It's Never-Ending Story. It's The Goonies. It's also Brain Dead.
Oh, yeah.
It's all that weird mixture of films that I think make it fun and entertaining. It's a BMX gore love story in the post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
We like to call it like if we found a very twisted 80s kid movie.
Oh yeah, that is for certain.
So this is one of those movies that either would have shown up like late night on like Cinemax or USA's Up All Night.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean,
hey, if you want to go back to the 80s, I'll go back to the 80s, sir.
But we want people to, of course, feel a little bit nostalgic of all those years, but at the same time, we want them to enjoy the ride and have fun. Like, our blood and gore is never there to shock people. It's always to entertain. It's really more Bugs Bunny for adults.
Oh yeah. If people were shocked by that blood, then they've never cut themselves in real life, because blood does not shoot out in gallons because you lost a finger. It's like that's not how you bleed.
Definitely not. Yeah, and I just think we want people to leave the theater or leave their VOD experience and bring friends to watch it. Like, crack a couple of beers, have fun together, and to have a big smile at the end of the movie and just to enjoy the ride.
This seems like one of those movies, if drive-in theaters were still around, that this would be the movie that you'd want to go and hang out in the car and watch this movie.
Or like a bike-in theater.
Yeah, bike-in theater.
Yeah, totally. We actually live 2 streets from an old drive-in that is still working. But unfortunately, they only show mainstream films. So we're trying to find a way with them to make grindhouse type film being presented there, but Maybe one day.
Just put it in a different case and don't tell them. And then just shock everybody at the theater.
Just put Bambi. Just
Yeah, just be like, it's a classic hit from the 80s. And people are like, all right, even though it takes place in 97. But are you guys going to have any release of the soundtrack? Because I noticed the soundtrack was fantastic. And I don't know if that was an original score just for it, or how is that going to be released?
It's an original score just for the movie. It was written by a band from Montreal called Le Matos, which, interesting, one of the members of the band is also the DOP on the film.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So, it's going to be released. It should be released soon. We don't have the date yet, but it's coming along very, very well. The music they made for the movie is just fantastic. I mean, it was so good. And they didn't have a lot of time to write it, because when we got the news that we're going to Sundance, our post-production time got cut in half. So every team was just working like crazy and not sleeping. But, you make sacrifice for Sundance. Sundance is pretty amazing.
This is a miracle.
Yeah, they did miracles.
That's awesome. And you guys, I also saw on the Indiegogo page you're going to have some action figures soon of the Turbo Kid.
Okay, now I'm in.
And they're all handmade. It's by a company. They all handmade them, so it looks pretty cool. And we just unlocked the comic book. So we're starting writing the Turbo Kid comic book right now with an amazing artist called Jake Dion from Montreal, he's insanely good at drawing. So we're starting to write this, and it should be released beginning of next year.
So is the Turbo Kid book going to be the Turbo Rider book that he's reading, or is it going to be him a book about about Turbo Kid?
We might end up doing both. That's the thing. We have to take decision on that. There's definitely going to be a comic book about the kid and his stories and everything. But we really would like to do that Silver Age type comic book of old school of Turbo Rider. So it's brewing in our mind right now on what is going to be our decision.
I'm looking at the picture of the action figures that you have coming out associated with the Indiegogo. I guess, or if you unlock it, those look fantastic.
I will pay the $275 for all four figures.
I need those figures.
Who makes the figures?
It's a German company that's called, I'm drawing a blank.
It's Good Legs.
Good Leg.
Yeah.
Good Legs?
Yeah, and they're all handmade, and they're pretty cool. And if ever we hit 50,000, we're going to try to make a video game of Turbo Kid.
Oh,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why we have an Indiegogo campaign. We're huge geeks, and we love comic books, action figures, and video games. And yeah, people, I think Turbo Kid really fits into that kind of derivative products. And yeah, and we're a small movie. We don't have the same market, the same budget to promote the movie. So that's why
it's a good way also to promote the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were flipping out because there was two conventions last week, Dragon Con and Wizard thingy.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of people that dressed up in characters of Turbo Kid, and we were geeking out like kids, watching at the pictures. Oh my God, this dressed up like the kid.
That's awesome.
Well, let me tell you the next step. If you're fascinated by that, let me tell you the next step is when more cons are going to go on. New York Comicon's coming up here in about a month.
Yeah.
Not only you're going to see people maybe dressed in your costumes, you're going to see people profiting off your artwork. Go down to Artist Alley, and you're going to see all these people making their own T-shirts, their own busts and molds.
Yeah, they'd be like, this is Daryl from Walking Dead as Turbo Kid,
It's like, these are better than what we're putting out. How do we get these? That'll be $40, sir. I made Turbo Kid. All right, $30.
At least, if as long they send us at least a copy of those bootlegs, we can watch like a T-shirt or figurines or whatever.
Just walk to the table. Mine.
Just keep a folder of cease and desist in your backpack. It's like, give me a shirt or here's a letter. Give me a shirt, here's a letter. That's it.
That's a good deal. That's a good idea.
And what do you have in your pocket there? Give me that money. I got to pay parking, and plus I need to get a soda, and then we'll call it even.
So what was it like working with Michael Ironside? Because he's always been kind of a villainous character in a lot of movies. One of my favorites being Total Recall. Was it cool working with him? He was pretty great in the movie.
Yeah, he is, and that's the thing. Like, we all see Michael as like the legendary villain of the 80s, but in real life, when you go and sit with him, he is like the biggest teddy bear in the world. He's incredibly huggable. Sure, you'll all be scared that he's going to snap your neck, but during that hug, it feels pretty good.
So if I see him, I should just run up and give him a hug, or should I be like, "Hey, I've been told that you like hugs."
No, I would start by, I heard that you like hugs. He is a big man. He has big hands. I mean, he can snap your neck like it's nothing.
And big hands mean even bigger hugs.
Yes.
Exactly. But no, he's been great to us. We've become great friends, and he's helping us with our career and with great advice. And he is a fantastic man, really.
That's awesome.
Where are you with once because I know you're out doing screenings of the movie. It's available on demand for people if you want to check it out. iTunes, I think Amazon Prime has it and whatnot. Where are you as far as once that is all done? Are you doing actual physical copies for distribution as far as Blu-rays, DVDs?
Yes, we heard it's going to be somewhere at the beginning of next year or at the end of this year. Distributors don't tell us their whole plan because we have big mouths. But it's somewhere around those days.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
So it's not in time for the holidays, but it's still something to look forward to for next year.
It could be in time for the holidays.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be in time for the holidays.
All depends on the territory.
It'll be a good Christmas if you're watching it.
Especially if you package it right with, a random figure with the Blu-ray purchase. People will spend another $10 on top of that just to get the figure.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I would too. We're huge collectors of action figure. We cannot still believe we have action figure of something we made.
My people.
Yeah, you're talking to a whole bunch of nerds here. But Eric's wearing his Rick and Morty shirt right now.
I am. It's custom made at Comicon. You can't buy it anywhere.
No.
So let me ask you. Let's go down this wormhole here. So if you're all collectors, what do you collect?
I collect a lot of comics. It's a little bit ridiculous how much I have. Comics. I have a ton of old action figures. Like, I have a room that's full of old action figures.
New action figures also.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. There's a girl there. What does she collect?
I collect toys, action figures, comic books.
But is there a specific product that you like or a specific franchise?
I would say that my favorite comic book is Preachers.
Oh, nice.
Home run right off the bat.
You're winning me over.
Oh, and also Anouk is a huge collector of VHS.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. That's an interesting. I don't know if I know any VHS collectors.
So you didn't actually burn any of your own VHSs in the movie, right? Like during the scene where they were keeping warm, you didn't actually do that.
Oh, that would be evil.
Okay, just making sure.
That would be evil. You never hear people say that. Everyone's like, "Get those videotapes out of my house."
That's how I feel when my son pulls a head off of an action figure. I cry a little inside each time.
And then you throw him out of the house like Carlton. Like Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
I make him sleep in the backyard for the night.
You should see him huck a 4-year-old. He gets good distance with that.
So what's next for Turbo Kid?
Right now, it's going to be released soon in UK, and we're going to Spain for the festival's Fidgets.
Awesome. Are you guys
And right now, we're writing 2 other scripts, and we have other projects we cannot talk about yet, but we're writing 2 projects of our own, and we're very busy. We're sleep is for the week.
Yes. So are you guys going to be at New York Comicon at all this year?
The what?
Are you going to be at New York Comicon at all?
Oh, we wish we could. We so wish we could, but I don't think we're going to make it. We receive money to write 2 scripts, and we have deadlines, and we have to respect those deadlines.
Oh yeah, deadlines are
priorities.
Definitely priorities there.
Cool.
All right, I was trying to find the dates there for the screenings. Do you have? Can you give us a couple of the dates where you're going to be screening this movie?
Oh man, we're terrible. Not off the top of our head. Like,
well, are they on your are they on your Facebook page at least? If we direct people to the Facebook page, are they all over there?
Yeah, it's Turbo Kid. You'll find it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's facebook.com/TurboKidMovie for the page.
And also Turbo Kid Film on Twitter to follow that as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Go out and see Turbo Kid. It's on demand, iTunes, all that stuff. You can get it there. Like they said, end of this year, maybe into the beginning of next year, the actual physical copy for those who still like to collect it. Or maybe for the girl, videotape, if she wants a copy of that. And then, that could be cool because the casing will be like red or blue or something collector.
They should do like a limited release on VHS like they do with
And you should be poorly copied. You should have one good master copy, then copy them onto those really cheesy ones if they still make those bricks. Pull the tab out where they have the little wavy lines so it's authentic.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Guys, thank you so much. Give out the Facebook again for Turbo Kid.
It's facebook.com/TurboKidMovie and Turbo Kid Film on Twitter.
And if you want to check our Twitter, it's Erik Nagel. We're putting up the link for the Indiegogo campaign, so if you want to donate to that and get all kinds of cool perks, action figures, DVDs, all that cool stuff, and help out with where this thing is going, you should do that and help all these guys out. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, man.
Hey, no, thank you for having us. It was awesome.
And if you're in New York City at some point, well, since Gittles seems to have everybody's phone number over there, why don't you contact Gittles and come by the studio?
Oh, we would love to. We'll definitely try.
Okay.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
We'll try and get some toys for you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.
We're sending you Uggs.
They're sending what?
Uggs.
Love.
Love. I thought I heard action figure, but that's okay.
Eric hears what he wants to hear.
I heard all 4 action figures are coming my way. Great. Yes, come in studio. We'd love to talk to you. Okay, guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah,
those
man.
I gotta say, I was impressed looking at that screen. I was like, oh, and you said it before I did. You're like, I kind of want all of those. I was like, me too.
The main figure, Turbo Kid, he kind of reminds me of an old Voltron figure.
Yeah,
like, that's
I know what you're talking about. Like the helmet.
Yeah, with the helmet. I'm like, holy shit, that's a Voltron figure. Like, he looks like he belongs in the Green Lion. Like Pidge.
Yeah, when they're like shooting down the...
So when you guys collect action figures, do you do it in the hopes that they're going to become valuable?
I forgot there was a girl in the room. Sorry, Allie.
No,
wait a minute.
I personally am of the belief that I take my toys out and play with them. So
yours is just purely pleasure.
Yep,
you don't care.
I open them up and I display them, and I don't.
You don't try to keep them in perfect condition.
No.
For
and a lot of people ask me like, should I buy this? Do you think it'll be worth something? And the answer I give them like 9 times out of 10 is if the only reason you're buying that toy is because you think it's going to be worth something, don't buy it. Because the market isn't like that anymore with new stuff. Because they make so much of a lot of stuff.
Never going to be a rare.
Yeah, it's harder to find those. Like the reason why those old Star Wars figures are so valuable is because no one kept them back then. So if you happen to have one
it was the last example, I would say, like when our parents would say, oh, I had all these baseball cards and my mom threw them out while I was in school. The Star Wars figures was the last example of that, because then people in the 80s started to realize, I can collect Cabbage Patch Kids, I can collect G.I. Joes and Voltron and He-Man and all that stuff, and then it really wasn't worth anything.
Yeah, it goes a little past that. He-Man and Transformers, like classic Transformers, classic He-Man stuff, still carries a little bit of weight. Not as much weight as Star Wars.
Transformers, I think, because that was during the time when they switched from metal to plastic.
Sure.
Like Tonka trucks. I used to have one of those ones you could sit on it and do the scooping and everything in the sandbox, and then they became plastic. You couldn't ride them, you couldn't use them anymore, and toys, sucked shit for a long time.
Right.
So those Star Wars things were the example of my parents threw everything out.
Right.
So, what's like the most valuable toy? Is there something that's like the
Honus Wagner of toys?
Of toys?
God, there's a really hard to come by Star Wars figure that was limitedly produced. That was from the holiday special, and I can't think of the figure off the top of my head, but that fetches quite a penny.
Was it the Frizzies that they were fighting?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Was it Chewie's family?
The prototype rocket-firing Boba Fett figure, which never actually made it to production.
Was it a really embarrassed George Lucas?
I know.
Okay.
They made that figure
should
in
be an
like
action figure.
they made that figure in like the 2000s. He was in Stormtrooper armor. I'm not even kidding.
Boba Fett's
Wow.
holding a walkie-talkie instead of a gun.
Instead of a gun, yeah. But yeah, it's probably a Star Wars toy, I would guess.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
way up there.
Why did you collect anything? I'm sure you had some when you were a kid.
No,
My
I
Little
didn't-
Pony, Rainbow Bright.
I mean, I had that stuff, but I didn't collect it. I had
Yeah.
like a Cabbage Patch. I had My Little Pony.
No, she was a good-looking blonde girl. She was out on dates. She was having friends and social
point.
events.
Hey, listen. Me, Chewie, and Boba Fett
Had
spent a
some hot
lot
nights.
of good Friday nights, all right?
They had their own
don't
ice cream
knock it.
socials out.
That's it. That's it.
Sounds pretty good.
You had tea parties. I had epic lightsaber cantina duels. So, whatever.
Actually, I want to go back to the phones real quick,
Yeah, do it.
and then we'll take a break. But this is somebody claiming to be a friend of Alli's, named Anthony in Florida.
Oh, yep, I know him.
Anthony,
Yes, how you doing?
how are you, sir?
Good. Hey, Allie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
And how do you know young Alli?
I met her through Twitter and became a fan of hers, and I've hung out.
He came out to shows.
Am I
Didn't
a
you come
creeper?
to? No, you came. Well, you came to
Okay.
Norton shows, I think, when I was opening for him.
I've come to a bunch of
And then
Norton
he's come to a few
shows.
more shows.
And exactly, and we've kept in touch through Twitter. But Eric, first off, I want to just commend you how amazing your show is.
Well, I thank you, sir. I don't think you're a creep anymore. That's great. I like Anthony from Florida.
All right, because you're holding the nerd flag high for all of us. I love it.
We're trying to do it in a way that doesn't piss everyone off, because you can either go really light and everyone thinks you're, a fucking poser for it, or you can go really deep and everyone hates you because you know so much stuff.
Yeah.
So exactly. It's exactly like that. We're gonna get that drop one day.
and I've got something. I sent something to Allie about some tattoos that I'm thinking of getting. But also, I wanted to just say, you were talking about collectibles. About 31 years ago, my mother got me, before Voltron was called Voltron, it was called Go Lion.
Yes, that's the original Japanese one.
Yes, and she took me to some fancy toy store, and I
Child
had
World.
a 3-foot tall Go Lion.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
And I kept it immaculate till I was all the way in college. And I played with it, but
Sold it for drug money?
Put it back, drug money. That's what it was, Now,
Wow, nailed it.
I have no idea
Florida.
what happened to it, but yeah, Florida. That's true.
Yeah,
I needed to get. I bought the materials to make meth with it. So.
And he was snorting it off with the big, form-blazing sword.
Oh, Jesus. This is taking a dark turn.
I know.
It is. Let's get to the point that you wanted to call here for. You wanted to talk
my point
about
is-
Alli's tattoos.
No, not Allie. Not Allie's tattoos.
I have no tattoos.
No, Allie doesn't have any tattoos. I have a lot.
Oh, and your tattoo.
A lot of comic book tattoos, and I'm wanting. Long before Iron Man was in the movies, I collected Iron Man comics from when I was young, and so I really want to get. I already have a Krypton exploding tattoo. I want to get an Iron Man tattoo. And my real question is, I sent them to Allie, but she probably hasn't checked her phone.
No, because she's on too many dates, sir.
Exactly, I know.
Both comedy
She's on
performances
very many
and social interaction with strapping young gentlemen.
She's doing real things, but she's still wearing that same green jacket right now.
I got a new jacket. I do have one. You'll see it this winter.
Very good.
All right, so let's move this. So he wants to get an Iron Man tattoo, is what
I
you're
want to get
saying.
an Iron Man tattoo. Should I get the one where he's punching the ground, or one of just the Iron Man head?
Well, that depends on how big you want the tattoo. I have a Nightcrawler tattoo, and I went through should I get just the bust or should I get a full Nightcrawler? And I got a full Nightcrawler bamfing in from a teleportation in a cloud of smoke. So I went the full Monty for it.
Yeah, that's 100%.
So there you go.
Yeah, so go all in.
Go all the way. If you're going to do it big.
Or do the energy source right in the center of your chest, sir. That's the Iron Man tattoo that nobody has. You want to set yourself from the rest? That's what you get.
Just get a Stark Industries tattoo.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it really simple.
All right, Anthony, we got to move on, but I'm going to hold on. I'm going to put you on hold and get your information. I'm going to give you a copy of the 20th anniversary edition Blu-ray of Hackers, starring Angelina Jolie, from our friends at Shout Factory. All right.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to put you on hold. Lewis will get your information in just a moment there. So we're going to have to take a break. For the rest of the program, here's what we're doing. In a little while, we're going to speak to our friend Mark at Funko. They had some big news involving Star Wars. We're going to talk to them about everything going on with there. Later in the program, Ben Mckenzie, the star of Gotham, he plays Detective Gordon, not Commissioner Gordon, because he's not there yet.
That's right.
He's Detective Gordon. We're going to talk about season 2. We're going to talk about him being on the OC. And for those who remember, by the way, it's like the number 8 most watched show on Netflix right now.
I don't doubt it.
They're tying it in with the Gotham, so bravo. But we'll talk to him in a little while. We have a couple other things we want to talk about involving television and movies. And also, if we get a chance here, I want to work in an ongoing storyline that's been happening on Opie and Jimmy with fat shaming.
Right.
With she calls herself a comedian, but rest of social media seems to differ with that.
We'll just call her by her name.
Nicole Arbor. We're gonna. There's a new story about her based on her fat shaming video, is what it's being dubbed. A video titled "Dear Fat People." It was also. There was a response video from Whitney Way Thor.
Oh, right,
who's on this show called Fat and Fabulous on TLC. And then Opie and Jimmy responded to that video, which you can imagine how well that went. That's up online as well. But she called into Opie and Jimmy, I believe it was it yesterday? I'm forgetting. I'm spacing out. Yesterday or the day
Wednesday
before.
or Thursday.
And I believe it was yesterday. Okay. The video is for the call and everything is up on Opie Radio on Twitter and Opie Radio on YouTube. That's the official video, so you can hear her call in and give her side of everything that's going on. She got fired from a movie that she's working on, or was working on, and if we have some time, I want to discuss that as well. I tried getting her on the phone, but she's over in London right now, so it seems like
it's bedtime right now.
That might not happen. Well, she said she's out. Oh. So I'm like, if you really are trying to make a big deal of this publicity, let's not go out with your friends and talk to any media that really wants to talk to you at the moment.
Of course she's going to go out.
I don't think it's been good publicity.
Yeah.
Right.
No, she's been feeding off everything. No pun. No, actually, let's throw the pun in there.
Yeah, let's throw it in there. I'm eating a slice of pizza as we're talking.
All right. So let's take a break. We'll do all of that. We'll take your calls. 866-969-1969. We still have the Walking Dead shirt and bag that we didn't give away from last week. So maybe we can find somebody to take that off our hands as well. Comedian Alli Breen is in here. Do you want to plug your stuff?
Sure, you can just find me on Twitter at Breen Screen or Instagram at Alli Breen.
And comedy dates, anything?
Sure, Vancouver next weekend at the Comedy Mix, and Bunkers in Indianapolis the following week.
All right, and you can follow us at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter. We'll be right back. I didn't want to bring the show back because Matt seemed to be having a good time listening to some Rancid.
I like Rancid. I was enjoying myself.
Who doesn't like Rancid?
Good music makes me happy.
Welcome back to the program. It's Erik Nagel, and that is me. Phone number is 866-969-1969. Call us if you want to chat, to talk, discuss. No big whoop. Matt O.G., Gittles, and comedian Alli Breen all here in studio. A little bit later in the program, we'll speak to Ben Mckenzie, the star of Gotham. He's Detective Who? Oh, I thought you were paying attention. Detective Gordon. There you go.
I was paying attention, but my brain skipped a beat. You stumped me because I'm so used to calling him commissioner, and I'm like, detective?
That's the problem, because I was about to call him commissioner, and I went to I almost said doctor now. All right.
I know. I thought it's because you said detective. I'm like, is that the doctor's cousin? Like, who is that?
Okay, all three of us were in the wrong spot.
No one was on the
Ben
right page.
Mckenzie from Gotham. He's Detective Gordon. We'll speak to him later about season 2, which is starting, I believe, on the 21st.
Yep, coming back
this
soon.
month. Season 2 is The Rise of the Villains.
That's right.
And we'll see what's going on with there. He's got a lot to say about this particular subject. And for the ladies out there, you know him from the OC. So
that's right.
Something for everybody.
Sure.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, we have a bunch of stuff. I want to get to the Nicole Arbor thing, but we got to go to the phone right now because our friend and yours, Mark from Funko, is here. Mark?
Hey, how you doing?
How are you, sir? Mark is the marketing director for Funko. I got to talk to him out at San Diego Comicon. We have a lot of mutual friends who were trying to ruin our relationship by telling Mark, don't talk to Erik.
Oh, that's terrible.
Why would you do that?
Because Roland is a jerk.
Oh, well. Okay, fair enough.
Well, that's Roland.
But Everything worked out good. Mark has been very kind with his time and his product, if you will. He hooked up our friend Brian Johnson, who was here for the morning show.
Oh, right. Yeah.
For his daughter, and she loved everything, by the way, Mark. I just wanted to pass that along to you. Mark's here for some big news that just happened today. So let's get right into it, Mark. What's going on?
Well, we announced that we are going to be selling the first ever Star Wars subscription box, the only Star Wars subscription box, so the official Star Wars box. So now you can pay $25 every other month and get a box full of Star Wars goodies produced by us at Funko and Star Wars directly to your door. So we're pretty excited about that. I don't know, there's this movie coming out this fall or this winter you guys might know about. So
I heard something about that.
Is it called Turbo Kid?
I think it's the sequel to that.
Star Kid.
Oh.
The Last Starfighter.
We're really excited. I think it's obviously going to be a huge movie, and so if you're into Star Wars and you're a fan, and especially if you like Funko and you like Pop, it's going to be the subscription box you need to have this year.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is everything in the box only Funko Pop, or there's a whole bunch of other stuff?
There's a whole bunch of other stuff. We're going to have apparel and collectibles and accessories. It'll be a lot of stuff, kind of curated by us, but it'll all be Star Wars. And obviously there'll be a good heaping portion of Funko stuff inside.
I getting away from the Star Wars box, but in relation to Star Wars, very quickly, I want to give Funko some big kudos for how the company
props. The kids call them props.
They call them props. I call them kudos for how you guys handled Force Friday, because I feel like my Force Friday experience was not a great one with some other companies' products, but I was able to get everything Funko that I wanted, and I loved it greatly. It made my night that much better. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm glad it worked out well. We tried to get stuff to as many stores as we could. Which of the Pops did you end up picking up?
I grabbed a Kylo Ren, a BB-8, because I'm a huge astromech droid collector, and I grabbed a Trooper and a Poe Dameron. So,
all right, Matt. See, I know you don't want to name names, but I'm going to say I went to several Toys R Us and they were sold out, and all I got was a Poe. And I'm happy to get the Poe, but I kind of wanted some of the other ones.
Yeah, no, my Toys R Us, the one that I went to at midnight, I got the 4 that I wanted.
Yeah, I went 11 o'clock the next day.
Well, that's your fault.
I couldn't be bothered.
Nope, I was there at midnight. Gosh darn it.
I hit up a Target and managed to grab Captain Phasma, so I was pretty happy with that.
Nice.
I'm amazed that he has to go out and buy his own product.
There are none. There are none here in the building. That's how much demand there is that they didn't even come in here for samples. They came in one door and went out the other at all the stores.
The big corporate memo. Dear Funko employees, there are none Star Wars. Find a store.
Dear
Love
Funko employees, stores open at midnight. Yes. See you there.
Good luck, and may the Force be with you.
Like, we care about you, but not that much.
Parentheses/sarcasm.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the Smuggler's Bounty Box, because that's the reason why you called in tonight.
There's 2 different subscriptions that I want to talk about here. One is the monthly one. Now, the boxes don't go out until November, so even if you sign up now, you're not going to see anything until November. But you have the monthly one here. Tell us what's in the monthly box.
They're actually the same boxes, so it's just a different way to pay. There's a monthly and annually, and so monthly, whichever way you pay, you're going to get the same stuff inside. It's just that if you do the annual box, you're going to get a reward, like a secret Star Wars reward, after your first year in the program. So it's kind of like, hey, do you want to commit to a year up front? And if you do, we'll reward you with a little special something once you've completed the first year.
Well, let's give the prices out before we go even further into the details of these things. For the year, it's $150, which isn't that bad. But you get 6 boxes because it's not every month, it's every other month.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of stuff going into there. And then for the monthly subscription, it's $25. So if you're really a diehard Star Wars fan and you want that, everybody's going to want this, but if you want that little extra that the monthly people don't have and that you can, look down at them when you're at Comicon, when you go by the Funko booth, oh, I have the yearly thing. You didn't get the 1 year thing? Oh, I'm sorry. You're not as good as I am. Get the $150 subscription. It is worth it.
Well, that's right. And, the thing that we put out for the year is going to be exclusive. And you know how this stuff is. People love the exclusive items, and there'll be no other way to get it. Goes up in value. Even if you don't love it, you've got something that nobody else has.
People fight for this stuff.
They do. We have near riots, as you saw at SDCC.
Right, and one was almost caused by me, because on preview night, Wednesday, you opened up at 6 and you were done by 6:30, right as I walked over, and I couldn't start screaming more F words at you people.
we hear them all.
So I see that people have until November to actually sign up for the boxes, right? But are they limited? Like, is there a limited number of boxes? Like, so if you don't sign up, if you wait until November, you might miss out?
10 boxes a month.
No, you won't. We won't miss out if you sign up by November. So we've got enough that if anybody who signs up by November 12th, they'll be able to get one. I think the question is, if you wait till after, will you be able to get them? And, with our Marvel box, there have been some left over, and you can play that game. Maybe we'll have some left over.
Right, it's a gamble.
You can pick it up at a con like we were doing in San Diego, but we don't guarantee that. It just kind of depends on how it works out.
I just want to point out, at the Funko, I'll call it Pavilion because it was a pavilion. At the Funko display there at San Diego, you had the store, which had all the exclusive toys, but across the aisle, right next to them, this huge Iron Man, sorry, not the Iron Man, the Hulkbuster. Funko statue there, and with that display was just the subscription boxes. You couldn't get near Avengers. It was constantly out, but there was a lot of Ant-Man. I'm just saying, you got to pick and choose which battles you're going to fight for here. If you want Star Wars, chances are it's not going to be in supply like Ant-Man was.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of a game that you can play. If you want to wait and see if we'll have some left, you certainly can. But yeah, the Avengers, we flew through those. But by the way, we'll be at New York Comicon in a couple of weeks here. We'll be selling Avengers boxes, and Ant-Man and Secret Wars was the latest one. We'll have a Star Wars booth too, so you can come see that Hulkbuster in New York in just a few short weeks.
I will be there.
I will be there too. We'll have Mark back on the show. And then we will go shopping.
So people have, nice. So people have until November 12th to sign up for those boxes. I just want to make sure that date is out there, because I don't want people to gamble. I don't want people to feel like they've waited too long and then miss out. So I'm saying go now. Just sign up. Make yourself happy.
I'm already signing up.
I'm doing it during the next break.
I think the 150 is totally
doing it on
worth
his phone.
All right, now, damn it, Bank of America, process. What I find amazing that you can, like when Matt said, it's like how many subscriptions are available, because a lot of the times when, like, say, other collection boxes like Loot Crate, right? They were at San Diego Comic-Con and they had specialty boxes only available at the con, and they were only selling a certain amount per day, but then they actually sold everything. So there was a certain limit of what they actually made, and they're numbered too. Are these ones numbered? Like, is it getting a higher box better than the lower box? What?
No, we don't have anything quite that fancy just yet. We're just starting these boxes out, so we're making them widely available. But I do like that they do that. I think it's a cool program, and that might be something we could do in the future. But right now, we just want as many people as possible. If you want to sign up for it, we're going to let you sign up for it. Well, so it's only limited once you get past the 12th.
It's great that you guys have the resources to do that, because the other point I was going to make is that even though they try to do these special projects, there's only we can only do 10,000 subscriptions, and if you don't get it, then you're out. I'm sorry, but you're saying that if you can subscribe up to when the boxes come out in November, everybody's going to be taken care of.
Yeah, we've got enough. Nobody will miss out if they make it by the date.
Are you making forts out of these boxes? What's the warehouse look like?
The warehouse looks like the Raiders of the Lost Ark warehouse. That's what it looks like.
You should just put something that has nothing to do with Star Wars in one box and see if somebody tweets it out. It's like, why is there a bottle opener in here? I don't know. It says Pilsner on it for some beer. It's all faded.
Mark, can I ask you a question not related to the Star Wars box, but certainly Funko related?
Of course, anything.
Collectible boxes or collector cases. Are you guys actually putting out some sort of official protective cases or boxes now? I thought I had seen something online.
Oh, I hope you are.
Yeah, we do. They're called pop protectors, and they're a little kind of, I don't know what the material is, but looks like plexiglass or something that your pop fits perfectly inside of.
Made out of diamond, blood diamond.
Right here, I've got my Conan O'Brien from SDCC tucked safely.
All right, I'm hanging up on Mark because I tried to get those, and you can only get them if you went to the show. How did you get it?
He works there.
I might have, had inside. Somebody here might have slipped one under the door.
So, are those boxes available now, or are they coming soon?
No, they're available now. You can find those online at a variety of different retailers. But yeah, we're going to make them more and more widely available because we have had people, the inbox collectors who want to make sure that stays pristine and mint on card, as it were. Definitely want something to keep their pops nice and safe. I'm an out-of-box guy typically, but with Conan, I decided I'd lock him up like Fort Knox.
Well, for me, I'm an out-of-box guy too. So my pop collection is currently all on display, except that I have one or two that are now signed.
Yep.
So those ones I want to be able to protect and keep nice. That's like something special.
Ooh,
so that's what I'm thinking of.
Who do you have?
Yeah, well, who do you have signed?
I have Orphan Black. I have Tatiana Maslany.
Okay.
And
that's a good one.
Nice.
I have another one. Who do I can't think of the other one. I have another one signed.
Was it one I gave you?
It was another one that you got for me. I just don't remember what it is. And I have like 3 or 4 lined up for like different events. So.
Well, the one I'm most proud of that I have signed, I had 2 of them signed. One was for me, and the other one was to give away on the show. But then it was quickly claimed by one comedian named Robert Kelly.
Yeah.
He took Daredevil signed. I'm not Daredevil. Sorry. Deadpool signed by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes. That photo's up on my Instagram, and you can see me sadly handing it to Robert. But that's there. So, yeah, I would definitely love to get those cases. By the way, I only just recently found out that there's little stages for those Funko things that I've been throwing away.
No, not all of them come with stands. Only certain ones come with stands.
All right. Well, I didn't even bother to look if it did come, because some of the ones I was throwing the boxes out, and I'm like, oh my God, this probably had a stand, and I didn't even realize it.
Eric is ravenous when toys come.
It's Christmas every day in my house.
It's like a wood chipper.
One of the other things with at least with the San Diego mob scene around Funko for all the product and stuff, they started doing these limited edition Funko T-shirts.
I love those.
That come in almost like they're shaped like a vinyl record.
Yeah, but it's like a mock Funko box almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
How are those doing?
They're doing great. I mean, we started selling those at the cons and at Hot Topic first, but I think they're scheduled to start going into some other retail stores soon. But they're doing great, and those are actually the T-shirts that we put into these collector boxes. So they're called Pop Tees, and all of the T-shirts that we do then in the Marvel box and in the Star Wars box are actually the Pop Tees. So we don't source our T-shirts from like other places. You can't find the T-shirts at Target or whatever. Like they're our T-shirts. So which is another reason I think our box is a little more special, because not only are we curating it, but we're actually making a lot of the stuff inside of it. So I think they're great T-shirts.
See, here's the problem with making everything so special. You never want to take anything out of the box. So you just look like you opened up your own Funko stand in your house, and it's like everything's in pristine mint condition because I can't get rid of anything.
Nah, take them out. Let them breathe.
I knew my house was going to have a problem when my wife started wanting Funko, because I'm the toy collector in the house, and I have more than enough for my house. I have more than enough my personal collection for me, my wife, and my child. But now my wife, like, she has all the Harry Potter ones, and and so now they're just everywhere in my house. So you've taken over my family, Mark.
Well, hey, I have the same issue. Kara and I are fighting for shelf space constantly.
Say hi to her, by the way.
I will.
I won't give out her last name or anything, but she used to work here many moons ago. So it's a small world when you come down to it about who knows who and what.
Sure.
It is, definitely.
I want to point everybody to smugglersbounty.com. Subscribe to the brand new Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty box that officially Funko is putting out here with all kinds of great stuff. It's every other month. It's not every single month like most subscription boxes here, but it's definitely worth it. You can do the monthly at $25, or you can do the yearly, which is 6 boxes for the year subscription, plus some really cool stuff on the anniversary of your subscription for $150.
Mark, quickly, with New York Comicon coming up, 2 questions for you. First, regarding Smuggler's Bounty, will people be able to sign up at your booth at the con for the box if they don't want to do it online for some reason? Like, will you have the ability for them to do that right at the pavilion, as Eric likes to call it?
Yes, we will.
Excellent. And what is your New York Comic Con exclusive?
We have around 30 New York Comic-Con exclusives at the Funko booth. We have not announced those yet. I think we're looking at announcing those over the next couple of weeks. So if you look at Funko.com, you'll see everything that we're going to have. But I mean, like I said, there are more than 24 exclusives that we'll be selling at our booth. There's some cool stuff up there from Game of Thrones and Marvel and Star Wars that we're going to have some really great exclusives that people are going to want to line up for.
I'm not hearing Doctor Who.
Or Rick and Morty.
I think that Rick and Morty, I don't think so. I think there is a Doctor Who exclusive for NYCC. I'm positive there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I need $150 for the Star Wars subscription box, and then I need another $150 for the exclusives at New York Comic Con.
Exactly.
Will you be handling some of your New York Comic Con exclusives the same way you did with San Diego in regards to making
by shutting down in half an hour?
Yeah, no. In regards to making some of them available at various retailers if you're not at the convention, because I know you could get stuff through like Hot Topic, Barnes and Noble.
We got the Harry Potter one
Books A Million,
Hot Topic,
right? Yes, some of them are shared. Not all of them. Some of them are shared. I don't have a list right in front of me, but a couple of them will be available at the same thing, Hot Topic and Amazon, I think, and a few other outlets like that where you'll be able to buy them. Usually, I think it's timed so that right after NYCC, if they get their stock, and so if you weren't able to make it to NYCC, you can grab some of the limited quantities there.
Yeah, because I'm an Arrow collector, and I wasn't at San Diego, so I was online feverishly at like 4 or 5 different online retailers scooping up stuff
nice.
to complete my collection.
Not just online. Matt had people on the floor.
I had people everywhere.
He gave me a list. I said, "Okay, Matt, I'm going over to Funko. Don't worry about it." I had 3 other people pick up everything. What are you talking about? Oh, I had multiple hands on the floor. I couldn't just trust you.
Yeah, you have to at San Diego. It's a boots on the ground operation.
Well, apparently in NYCC, they're going to be doing a ticketing system where you're actually going to go and get a ticket to then line up for our booth. So they're organized.
This is what happened with Hasbro at San Diego. This is where the fights broke out.
All right, and now here's my problem. Now I have a booth.
Steel-toe boots.
Yeah, I have a booth at New York Comic Con, so I never get out to get on the ticket lines. I'm going to get screwed again.
No, you're not. You're going to go, Kevin, sit down. I'll be back in an hour.
Or you could just give your friend Mark at Funko a call or swing by the booth, and I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out for a nice guy like yourself.
Oh, you're the bee's knees, Mark.
Like how you worked it there, Matt. Let me ask you, outside of the Star Wars stuff, which is a big ordeal and coming out for the holidays, but are there any holiday stuff that you're putting out?
I think we've already announced a holiday dancing Groot. I'm pretty sure that's already out there. So there is that one particular figure that's holiday themed. And then I would be shocked if there weren't some holiday things included in our December Marvel box. We haven't announced what that theme is, but I think there'll definitely be some holiday stuff in the box.
Yay.
Okay, good. Because I'm always fascinated by the different editions that they do for pop vinyl, where they'll have like Harry Potter, but then they had the San Diego Comic-Con Collector's Edition, where something was
sort of Gryffindor Harry Potter.
Like that. Something is different with the figure, or they're painted different, or what have you. The one piece that I really pride myself on that sits at home, and whenever people come over and they're like, "Why don't you take it out of the box?" and I tell them to leave my house, is that the version of Jaws that you guys put out.
Oh yeah.
The reaction figure.
Yes, the reaction's a whole other line for people who don't know, different from the pop vinyl that that Funko puts out. But they put out the shark, and then they put out the figures from Jaws. But this one had Jaws eating Quint, covered in blood, and he's stabbing it with some kind of like knife right into the gills there. And the box is painted, the figures are painted, and I'm like, this is just going to be on my mantle till time ends.
Yeah, that is a great exclusive. That was definitely one of the most popular things we had at SDCC, and it's a fun process trying to figure out like what all the different variants are going to be. Because, like you said, sometimes it's just a simple paint change, sometimes it's an accessory, or sometimes it's an entire costume. There's a ton of Star Wars exclusives already that are out there in different stores where it's this person unmasked, or it's this person with a different paint scheme, like a chrome C-3PO or whatever. It's always really cool to kind of come up with that stuff and then see them out in the marketplace.
Well, again, I'm an Arrow collector, and I think you've got to have like 7 different Arrow figures out now.
We do. You mean like the Arrow TV show?
Yeah, I'm a huge Green Arrow collector, so you guys are just killing me with all the Arrow and Green Arrow stuff you put out. But I think Pop Vinyls, there's got to be like 7, right, of just Oliver or just Arrow?
Oh, yeah. And I think there's a wave 2 coming pretty soon. Yep. And I know, we bowed down to the Team Felicity group who demanded that we do a Felicity smoke pop, so she's coming.
I'm super excited about the Felicity figure. I'm not going to lie.
I'm just going to say this. The way Matt's acting right now, his kid is going to have a really sad Christmas because all that money is going right to Funko.
My kid has an epic Christmas every year.
Daddy keeps buying all these toys that he wants.
One for me, one for you.
You can play with the empty boxes.
One, two for you. The old Looney Tunes.
So much great stuff here with Funko to look forward to. The Star Wars box is the one that we're focusing on right now. The Smuggler's Bounty, to be more specific. SmugglersBounty.com. Go there, sign up now. If you're a big Star Wars fan, you definitely need to have this in your life. If you can do the monthly subscription, great. If you can, if you have the means to do the yearly subscription, I highly recommend that you do so because there's some added bonuses to that. Mikey Piff just walked in from SiriusXM Hits 1. Mikey, you a big Funko fan?
You know, I don't get a lot of the figures because I literally, if I did, I would have no room for anything else.
See, that's not the thing Funko wants to hear.
No, I do have some of them. I have some.
They want to hear the fact that it's like, I don't even have a bed because I have so many Funko figures in my room.
Boxes.
I'm drowning in Funko figures.
It's the opposite of Matt, who just sleeps with Funko toys and is like wrapped in them in their warmth.
I don't understand.
So you don't have anything?
I don't have a lot of toys, only because I'm in a studio apartment in Manhattan, which is about probably like a 12 by 12, but when I say 12 by 12, it's like inches.
All I'm hearing is a lot of bullshit excuses here, Mikey.
You know, that's I do enjoy. I do have some of the toys. I have I used to have the not Nerd Box, so the Loot Crate. So
right.
I have the General Zod figure,
right.
Superman, and some Walking Dead stuff.
Okay,
there you go.
We're gonna have to get Mikey a gift card to either to Toys R Us or to Hot Topic and have you go look. Hot Topic. No, it's not what it's not for teenage emo girls anymore.
No, Hot Topic is
it's for
Funko.
40-year-old men. There's a whole wall of the store dedicated just to Funko Pop.
That's a new one.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You want to search through everything and kind of not want to have that whole thing cave on top of you.
or your weekend is what you're saying. These are your weekends.
Okay, you're going a little too far into my life here, and I'm not appreciating that. Mark, we're going to let you go, but I just want to also commend you guys. You guys figured out the knack for what Matt and Kevin dubbed kitchen sink figures, which means like, say in the Batman toy lines, you'd have the first wave of all the original figures, and those would go away pretty quick, and then you'd get, excuse me, I'm dying, the second and third waves where Batman now has a snorkel and an oxygen tank because he's now underwater scuba diver Batman, and this one, shoots fire out of his eyes for some reason, and it's not the people that you want. You want the original ones or something that relates to the cartoon series, the comic book, or the movie. You guys have figured out how to take the same figure, make different variations, and make them exclusive to different stores, and people still want every single figure.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of a technique, I guess, but I honestly think it's just we have such great artists here that they can make those figures look so damn good that people want them. I mean,
right.
if we go, okay, I want to do Ant-Man with his helmet on and his helmet off and a glow-in-the-dark Ant-Man, and they all look great, people want them. And the other aspect is we do a lot of characters that there isn't a lot of merch for otherwise. I mean, Batman's not a good example, but if you like...
I'll give you a good example. 16 candles. I saw Ducky, and I'm like, what? Wow.
Where are you going to get that at? I mean, nowhere else, right? So
Funko.
If you have an obscure sort of, interest in a movie like that, or, sometimes it's your only option. If we can make multiple versions of that character, I think it makes those people pretty happy.
Well, that's why I want to commend you guys, because you guys have figured it out. You have high-quality product. People have become obsessed with these things. And the fact that you can make so many different variations of characters and series that people absolutely love, and them not being sick of the fact that there's so many of those things. That's the other thing you guys outskirted, because sometimes you'd have the toy aisles flooded with a certain particular line of a Batman or maybe something from Marvel or Transformers is another one. There's tons of Transformers stuff, and I don't see anybody buying that crap. But you guys have put all this stuff out there, and everybody wants it. You rarely ever find just shelves of this stuff and like nobody's buying this stuff. Somebody is always going through the end caps, through the walls, through everything there online, and buying every single piece that you put out.
I mean, again, partly I think it's just we've chosen some franchises that people like, and we've got good licenses.
Don't be humble. Let me kiss your ass here, Mark. That's what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, but it's also the price point. I think we have a pretty reasonable price point. It's usually $10 or less, and so people can. Our CEO is fond of saying that, we truly do have, like, a pop for everybody. I mean, if you like Duck Dynasty, I mean, okay, but we make a pop for that.
That's it.
We'll make it for you if you're going to buy it.
And if you're more into Batman and Loki and all the traditional superheroes, obviously we've got that stuff, but we can go really deep into licenses that we work with, and we've just got a great art team that can make that stuff, come to life, I guess.
I think I would like to suggest, I know it wouldn't be cost effective, but I don't care. This is my imagination. If we could maybe make a one-off run of the It's Erik Nagel show. Because I'm tired of buying the blank ones and drawing myself into it.
Well, I can't promise anything there, Eric. So you might buy a few blanks and keep practicing.
Damn. Good try, I tried.
Good try.
All right. Mark, what else do we need to plug here for you?
I think you guys have covered it. I appreciate it. If you guys just make sure and come see us at NYCC, all your listeners are in the area, and you guys come swing by the booth and check us out in person. It's one thing to talk about it here, but you got to see some of these figures and see these boxes. And like I said, we've got 30 plus exclusives to sell, and we'll be there in town in a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
We will be there, and Mark, of course, we'll be doing our show from the floor of New York Comicon, and we'd love to have you back on again.
I will be there. No issues.
All right. By the way, I got a message from Justin Stangl. He's asking, is Winnie the Pooh available? Because he can only find it on eBay.
Is it available?
Yeah.
I think it is retired, meaning that it's not being made anymore.
Okay.
So that's why it's on eBay and not in stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, take that for what you will. If there's one laying around, maybe consider throwing it our way. But if not, we'll send him right back to eBay. All right. Thanks, Mark. We appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Not a problem. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, take care. So much great stuff coming out of Funko.
Love Funko.
All my money is going to this company.
Still no Zardoz.
When you make a thing like Ducky, do you have to get someone's permission?
Hold on a second. Yeah. That was your time to speak up.
I was going to, but then he was just like, we went deep into the licenses. I was like, he's not going to say
We talked about Zardoz last time.
I know. I don't want to be that
keep
guy.
Bringing it up because somewhere it's going to plant the kernel in their mind and go, it would be really ridiculous if we did Zardoz.
Just for Gittles.
The one where guns are shooting out of his mouth.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone will want it. Just putting it out there.
That's what I was going to ask. Can you just make something of anything, or do they need to license it all?
I think because are you familiar with what the Funko Pops are? It's really
I don't know any of the stuff.
It's really not a likeness issue with those. Like you probably need the rights for the film to produce the characters, but I don't think you need like.
Oh,
you know
gotcha.
what I mean? Like,
so
I don't.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's like a caricature.
It's kind of generic. I don't think you would need anybody's actual likeness.
But they seem to be the one company that everybody is willing to throw their license at. Like they're saying, like any of the movie companies, they're saying, look, we have a whole catalog of these movies. They made Howard the Duck.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And that was because he had a brief little cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sure.
But they brought that license up. Like I said, 16 Candles. Who would think they'd want 16 Candles? But they were there, and everybody made it. And then they made Pretty in Pink as well.
Yep.
And so they've had the good fortune of everybody wanting to throw their license at this company and say, make our toys as well, because everybody's buying these things.
Nice.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, look, they stumbled on a formula, and it works. And good for them. And bad for me, but good for them.
Yeah, I feel like they stumbled upon the same formula that Pixar did, where they are getting the adults and the kids, and that's just like the perfect storm of money.
You got me for Inside Out because I bought Angry because Lewis Black was coming in,
yeah.
And then you couldn't find Angry anywhere after that.
And they're adorable.
They are adorable.
Important.
Look at those.
Yeah.
The Poison Ivy is really cute. I can't see
if you work a boring job in a cubicle somewhere, flood this with your desk, and then you're guaranteed to get an office somewhere. They're like, get this off the floor.
My desk at my job, I have Lego and Funko on my desk. So.
Well done.
Well
done, sir.
I'd like to have it here everywhere.
I would like to have it here, but I'm afraid Roland dropping something on it or throwing it away.
Probably just like smother it in hot sauce or something, or fart on it.
All right, that's all you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, he may do things.
I'll take my hits.
All right, let's change gears a little bit here.
Let's change it.
I move on to why I asked Mikey in here. Also happened this week was big news with Apple. revealing new phones, a new iPad,
new watch,
a pencil,
watch,
a
the
pencil.
iPod, the Apple Pencil, and updates to Apple TV. Mikey, what did you take from this? What's the big get?
Well, you know, most people are super, like, they're just upset that for some reason it's like, Apple didn't save the world. They didn't create something we'd never heard of before. And I keep saying, I'm like, if you look at their history, man, they don't really invent new things. They just reinvent things that didn't really work well or weren't popular. Like the iPod wasn't the first MP3 player. The iPhone wasn't really the first, you know, it was the first phone of that kind, but it wasn't the first phone ever. You know, they combined things that happened already. For me, the thing I'm probably most excited about is the Apple TV, only because I know it'll hopefully become what every time I come on, you know, the show I talk about is something I can finally get rid of cable, because I can't freaking. Why am I giving them $145 for a billion channels I don't want?
So hold on a second. Off the air, you need to talk to Gittles, because he got rid of cable pretty easy. So
what are the changes to Apple?
Looking
to
for
the
a
new
legit
Apple
way,
TV?
Yeah. Well, the thing that's most impressive is that most of these things like Roku's and stuff, like the interface, the UI sucks. It's not that great. Even on cable, like nothing. That's why I have a TiVo. I think it's the best looking one that's easier to get through. And what they did with Siri, which is, if you look at it, it's pretty interesting. People really aren't happy with Siri on the phone. It's okay. On the watch, it's much better. On this Apple TV, the way they demonstrate it, it is friggin' awesome. Like, you can just ask for whatever you want, and it'll keep going. You don't even have to restate the question. You know, the example the lady gave, it was like, show me action movies, show me James Bond, show me only the ones with Sean Connery, and that's all you have to say, and it narrows it down for you. And I'm like, this is awesome. I don't even, like, you just one whole thought. And to think whenever they'll be able to get, like, either their own content or, like, local channels and stuff like that, I will never buy cable again. I will just use Apple TV.
So the big update is really to the user face.
The user interface is different. It's bigger. There's some storage on it. Right. There's a bigger processor. It's a fresh new coat of paint and all the Siri stuff.
Nice.
You know, I mean, the phone is a gimme. It's better, obviously. You know, it's an upgrade. The iPad Pro, I don't know who's going to use it other than artists and stuff. I mean, the Apple Pen, and the pen is pretty cool. If you like art and you draw, and just the way, like, the tip of the pen can make, like, we were talking about it before, like thin brush strokes to, like, skinny ones and fat ones and whatever. I'm like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I've never seen a stylus that can do that. Like, getting him some credit. Yes, it's a giant pencil, but it's a pretty badass pencil.
Yeah, look,
I think people are giving him shit over that was because when Steve Jobs said in like 2010, he said, you know, if you ever see us putting out basically, you know, a pencil, you know that we blew it. And then they basically came out and said, hey, we came out with the pencil. So I think that's why a lot of people are like, you blew it in Billy Madison way.
There's a gif somewhere of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true, but I don't see a lot of people buying the iPad Pro and the pencil. The artists and stuff, like, I mean, you know, comic artists and everything. Well, I think there's a great use for it.
I was going to say, so a lot of artists use, like, the Wacom tablets. So I think this is probably Apple's answer to that. Like, they use the Wacom tablets to interface with their Mac. So this is just like, well, just use our tablets to interface with your Mac. And I think that's all it is.
And I forgot the name of the app, but one of the most popular things on the iPad is a drawing app that is incredibly advanced. I can't remember the name. I didn't get a chance to look it up. But if I remember, I'll tweet it out at Mikey Piff if you're an artist and don't know it already.
The force pushing thing seems odd to me. Like, I can't imagine how it's actually going to work smoothly. I know it looked cool in the demo, but once you actually physically start playing with it, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking it's going to be smooth.
People are just going to put thumbs through screens.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
Website load, and it's like right through.
What about the watch? Did the watch even catch on? Have people been buying those?
They haven't really talked about it that much.
Well, there was an upgrade to the watch,
probably
right?
No.
There was like an upgrade to the OS for the watch and designer bands.
Yeah,
I heard it was a big thing.
Are they doing like the Disney band? Then you can get the little charms for the holes that you can put around it.
They're getting into fashion.
Don't laugh. Somebody will buy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, yeah, the OS updates come out next Wednesday. But the pre-orders for the phone are tonight at 12:01 Pacific, 3:01 Eastern. If you're going to get the phones.
If you're going to get the phones. Okay.
Yeah.
And
then
that's
there's
the 6 and the 6S, right?
Right.
No. Yeah. Okay.
The 6S and the 6S Plus.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
And what else was it? Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it.
I think Lewis has something.
I just wanted to throw in there that they started making the case for the iPhone 6 the same material as the iPhone Watch metal, so
Yes.
that there's no more bend gate, which I think is fantastic. The
screen is different as well.
The screen is different. The front-facing camera went from 1.5 megapixels to, I believe, 5.1.
That's correct.
Which is a big upgrade. So
Jeez.
pretty excited.
I wasn't going to get too into the
pretending
specifics.
to know what all this means.
I think I might have heard.
The one thing I got. The one thing I got was the
screen.
camera.
I didn't want to OD on the nerd. It's like clearly it's everything. The screens, the cameras, everything is better. You know.
That I understand.
I don't use the Force Touch thing on like my MacBook Pro, but the way they use it in there, I can see like at this point it can only get so much better, and I guess reducing steps is probably the next best thing, which is again kind of like Siri with the Apple TV. If I don't have to press a button, if I can just click a button and say put on James Bond, Skyfall, and it just pops up on the screen, I'm like, sweet, done.
All right, cool.
All right,
so there you go.
Sorry,
Apple.
it wasn't a long recap.
No. That's actually more information that I had gleaned from myself. So
we're a couple days removed. It doesn't matter at this point. If you really want the in-depth information, there's other places that have it. All the tech sites have it. All the entertainment sites have it. I was just
Motherboard should have it, right?
Yeah, they do. Motherboard does have it, and I was just trying to get your thoughts on it. My phone contract comes up in November, and I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out about when I have to upgrade my phone. Now I have to lease my phone. I can't get the discount instead of like spending like $200-300 and then getting the 2-year contract with it. Now I'm still paying full price for the phone plus the 2-year contract. Is that right?
It's really confusing. I'm not gonna lie. Like between like the Verizon Edge or whatever all these programs are. But yeah, even Apple has their own, which again is incredibly confusing, where you can pay like $32 to like $49 a month to like lease your phone. Or you could, there's a version to keep it, or you can lease it where it's like every year you get a new phone. But the thing is, over time, you're still paying the full price of the phone. So I don't really understand how it's beneficial to anybody.
Well,
so
because
it's beneficial to them.
I guess if you don't have $700 up front, but you think you could swing $30 a month.
Yeah, I mean, for the areas that, I mean, the biggest issue with Apple is that they were always a luxury device, right? Especially in it's starting in America, then hopefully will expand. But there are places where that's why they created the iPhone the color, which clearly wasn't in the lineup that they showed up there. It's not existent anymore. Now it's like just the 5, the current version 6 and 6 Plus, and now the new ones. So now it's shiny and new, and hopefully in countries that where you can't spend $1,000 to buy it outright, or for $300 on a plan, you can at least pay $30 a month.
But you know what? I think the phone companies are going that way because it's not even just iPhones anymore. Even like if you want the latest Samsung phone, they're like $600 or $700 too. They're not cheap.
They're not cheap, man. I got my
because that's what I use. I use Samsung phones or I use Droid phones, and they're not a drop in the bucket. Or they are. Yeah.
Yeah, because my plan's up now, and I have to do, because they don't do like the replacement plan thing now. So now I have to go on either the flex plan thing where I lease a phone, or I have to buy it outright for its retail cost, which is like $700. So I'm just gonna keep this thing until it explodes.
Do you think it'll have the opposite effect where people will just go back to flip phones? They'll just get frustrated and be like, I can't take it anymore. This is
Who was it that just recently was telling me they wanted to go back to the flip phone? That was Gittles.
That was me.
You asked Nicholas from Motherboard. It's like, what's the latest in flip phone technology? And he just kind of looked at him like, what?
I swear, those are the one things, if I drop this, it shatters. But my dad has a flip phone. I've broken tiles on the floor dropping that thing. Those things are indestructible.
Well, now with the Force Touch, when you drop it, it'll activate all your apps at once.
No, you laugh, but I'm updated on flip phones only because I refuse to buy my mom an iPhone because I don't want to explain that shit to her at all ever. Like, I bought her an iPad mini every week. It's like, how do I do this email? How do I log into Facebook? Wait, I get too many messages. I'm like, just go away.
So I'm going to return it. I'm taking it back.
Seriously, I'm going to get you a pen and paper. You can write letters. Okay, have fun.
Snail mail. It's coming back.
All right, so this didn't answer any of my questions, but I'm sure at some point they'll explain it to me when I have to upgrade my phone.
You do have to sort of lease your phone. I don't think it's that big a deal because if you're paying the same amount via the lease versus the one-time upfront, as long as you're not paying more via the leasing system, then what's the big deal? Okay, so I'm spending $30 a month extra. If you have the money up front, either pay it, put it in the bank, and take out an extra $30 every month. I mean, it's...
But I feel like with the leasing thing, it probably pays for it, but then after the 2 years is up, then it will probably cost more money to keep if you want to stay on that same phone. So I feel like they're going to force you into upgrading every 2 years. Whereas like this, I can keep right now until it kind of dies, and then I can buy whatever I want.
That's true, but I think most people upgrade I think a majority of people upgrade every year or 2 years.
I mean, that's going to excite people, the fact that you can get a new phone every year, but the problem is you're going to catch people not doing the math and thinking like a human being.
Right.
Be like, oh, that's great. I could $30 a month for a year. It's like, no, you have to keep paying for the last one and then keep paying for the new one, and then it adds on. I was actually going to go and ask them because it's really confusing. I'll ask for you too.
Please find out what exactly everything is going on here, because I need to get a new phone in 2 months. I mean, my 5 is doing fine, but we're now 2 generations separating from my phone to what's out there. And, I kind of want to go with the newest thing if I have that opportunity.
You can't be on the Nerd and Tech Show, Eric, if you don't have the most updated phone.
Oh, watch me. Watch me just point and say, I am so yesterday, I am not keeping up with you, and I'll tell you everything you're doing wrong.
You're a technophobe.
Oh, man.
No, it's I'm into technology, but I still want to be the old man on the, yelling, get off my lawn.
Sure.
You got to figure out a nice balance to that.
All of a sudden, a football comes on. This is mine now. You can't have it back.
Jeff in Virginia. Jeff, how are you?
Hey, good.
What can we do for you, sir?
Hey, so the key words to all this is the full retail price of the phone. So no matter what happens to that phone, you're paying for it. So say you do something, you don't have your phone in a case, you break the phone, you still got to pay for that phone. If you want another phone, you're going to have to buy another one completely outright.
I mean, unless you have the insurance, right?
It comes with Apple Care if you buy it through Apple, which means they've got things covered and they will replace screens and stuff for people that break.
But are the phone companies not offering the care as well? Because I got mine through Verizon.
Verizon still has their insurance.
They do?
I got mine through like a little local thing. It's kind of local to Virginia, and I had some damage to my phone, and now I am stuck with no data on my phone for the next 2 years because I can't afford a new one.
Okay.
Oof,
that's what I thought. That's kind of what I figured why they do that.
The phone companies are a little bit trickier. Apple is a little bit more transparent. I mean, but you still have to do the math. In terms, he's right. You eventually do pay the full retail. You are paying $1,000 for a phone, just not upfront.
You're paying it over time. But the thing is, you never own it if you lease it, so you'll keep paying that. Eventually, you'll pay more.
I mean, but this leads into a bigger conversation because we're in the I don't own anything economy. Like we rent our music, we rent our cars, we rent our phones. We're pretty much. I mean, at some point, we're going to be like sharing clothes. Girls do that already.
Yeah, that's true.
You want this shirt?
Oh, we lost Jeff. I wanted to hook him up with something, but he hung up here.
Well, maybe his phone died.
You ran out of data.
Jeez. I'm just going to put that out there.
But like I was saying, we don't own a lot of the stuff that we have anymore.
But it's amazing because we're still paying the same amount. So companies are making so much money because they're not selling a product anymore, and we're paying them the exact same amount as if we were buying it.
Exactly.
And then we trade it into them, and they refurb it and sell it to someone else for full price.
Exactly.
Hey, this is my phone. It's on eBay.
Well, no, because what a lot of people would I mean, at least when you buy the iPhone outright, like you can use Gazelle and like resell your phone or something, which is what I usually do. But still, he's right.
I always thought that was a scam. Anything that advertised on TV, I thought was a scam. Like,
sure?
Yeah, like all those auction sites.
Oh, I never.
Cash for gold.
Oh, those ones where it's like, you could win this iPad for 3 cents.
But phones actually have a decent retail value. You can even sell them on Amazon and eBay for a decent amount of money.
I think I'm keeping this phone because I'm going to use it in association with my Apple TV or something like that, where I can just
as a remote
stream the music. Yeah. No, not even a remote, but put certain comedy albums and music and stuff, and have that stream to wherever I'm doing or in the car, and then use my other phone for other stuff.
Sure, money bags,
what have you. All right, sorry. Let's go to Tori in Wyoming. Tori, how are you?
Good, you?
Good. You called?
Yeah, I was going to say you were talking about the insurance through Verizon.
Right.
When I pre-ordered the 6, and I went all out, 128 gig, I had their insurance. I dropped it, and then they wanted the $200 deductible.
Right.
Then they will also want you to file a legal affidavit through Verizon.
Stating what?
Yeah.
I started filing it out, and it was like 6 pages worth of bullshit, and I finally said, screw it. I ended up getting another line and got a 6+.
They do that. They do that so that you're not. They do it so that you're not like doing something dirty with it. It's insurance fraud. Same thing if you call up if you have insurance on your phone through Verizon, right? And you call them up and you're like, somebody stole my phone. The insurance will replace your phone, but you have to have a police report. So you go to the police station, you say, someone stole my phone. And they take down your name. Where was it stolen? Where was the last place you stayed? They fill out like 3 or 4 things. You take it to the Verizon store and they give you a new phone. You pay the deductible, they give you a new phone. I mean, I get you don't want to do it, but they do it because of fraud. That's what it is. It kind of protects them from that.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of scammers out there. Which, I mean, the great example, like, there's a ton of, like, when they used to not do the pre-orders, and even last year, just a ton of Asian people online buying bulks of phone to send overseas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there's scammers everywhere.
Tori, thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it. I want to go over to Tim in Philly. He says, we're not getting any of this right. He's going to help us with this. Tim.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what are we doing wrong here?
All right, so I've had the Edge for like 3 years, and how it works is you get your phone, and say the phone costs $600 total paid out. If you pay $30 a month, after a year, you pay half the price of that, which would be the retail price to your contract. Then you can trade the phone in, and it goes towards the rest of the price, and then they refurbish them and sell them back, and you upgrade your phone into the next plan. Into a whole new plan and an all new year. And it goes all over again.
So you're not continuing to pay off that first phone then?
Right. When you trade it in, if it's in good working order, that goes.
So you're leasing your phone.
Yeah,
you're leasing it just like a car. Yeah.
So it's truly so that's not so bad then. I mean that's reasonable, and it really does help if you don't have the money out of pocket.
Well,
right.
that's good.
You get the new phone every year. You get the brand new one as soon as it comes out.
Okay. There you go. I'm with Verizon, so I think the next time I upgrade, I think they're going to force me to go to Edge. So I'll be part of this in a couple of months myself. I'll report back.
Okay. All right, Tim. I'm going to put you on hold and get your information. I'm going to hook you up with 25th anniversary Blu-ray edition of UHF by Weird Al and our friends at Shout Factory. All right.
Ooh. Awesome, thanks, man.
All right, put you on hold there.
He gets the drink from the fire hose.
Yes,
nice.
He does.
I'm glad he cleared that up, though.
Yeah,
because a lot of people won't read all that. There's again, just like that called before about filling out the 6 pages. A lot of people just don't want to read that stuff, and it does suck.
Dude, you get that thing. It's like this when you get a cell phone. It's like, here you go, sign all this. Here's the phone. Like, thanks.
Please accept these terms of service. Yes.
Is there any way I could say no and still get my phone? No. All right. I guess I have no choice.
I feel fortunate that I actually became very friendly with the guys at my local Verizon store. It's not like it's like an authorized Verizon retailer, but they're actually a decent one. And when I used to work at Starbucks, I used to come into my Starbucks all the time, so I became very friendly with them. So I go in there now, any problems I have, and they just walk me through the whole process like I'm a child, and it always pans out okay. So I know I'm okay as long as I go to those guys.
And then you get to leave with a lollipop.
Yay! A lollipop and a new phone.
Let's go to Will in Chicago. Will, how are you this evening?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, going over like what the last guy said, basically, I made a mistake in the very beginning when the phone switched over from the contract where you get it for free versus having to pay for it monthly.
Right.
And I got the first phone. It's not iPhone, but it's T-Mobile, but it's still the same thing. It's a Samsung Galaxy. And basically, I bought the phone. They charged me per month, and I made the mistake that when I got the new phone, I signed up for the lease plan as well, but I was still paying for the old phone. I didn't want to trade it in. It was kind of a stupid mistake on my part in the beginning, and I did end up selling it on eBay for more than they were going to give me for a trade-in, so that worked out all right. But I would say definitely go with the trade-in, like the last guy said, because you won't get screwed over as bad.
Okay.
So they're helping you out. They're so nice.
I'm going to be honest with you, even though I understand.
You're still not convinced.
Not convinced and not fully understanding.
I know. Well, I think that's their goal is
to confuse you so much that you'll just say yes and go along with it.
I'll take you to my guys, Eric. They'll treat you like you're a 4-year-old.
Matt's got a guy. Well, I'm going to put you on hold as well. I'm going to give you another copy of the 25th anniversary Blu-ray edition of UHF by Weird Al Yankovic and our friends at Shout Factory, all right?
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, no problem. Thank you for the call. We got to take a break because then we got to go speak to Mr. Ben Mckenzie of the Gotham TV show on Fox. So we're going to go do that in just a moment here. Allie, where are you going to be? Plug your wares.
I'm going to be at the Vancouver Comedy Mix next weekend and at Bunkers in Indianapolis the weekend after that.
And Mikey Piff from SiriusXM Hits 1
I will be down the hall on Hits One Channel 2 for the next 5 to 6 hours. Also this weekend, covering for Miss Jenna Marbles on the YouTube 15 while she's away in Australia at YouTube Fan Fest.
Wow.
So there's a lot of me and Spider Harrison this weekend.
Wow.
And at Mikey Piff on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice. Okay, there you go. Matt, do you have anything you want to throw out there, or you want to save it for the end?
No, I'll save it for the end.
All right, Gittles, any takedowns?
What? I'll say, wait, you're going to spoil
Exactly.
this. You did. You're making me flustered.
All right,
here.
never mind. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk to Ben Mckenzie from the show Gotham. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, you know this gentleman from the lead role. Well, I keep saying Commissioner Gordon, but you're not there yet. Detective Gordon from the show Gotham on Fox. Please welcome Ben Mckenzie. Ben, how are you, sir?
I am well. How are you?
I am very excited for season 2.
Thank you.
A lot of creepiness.
Yes.
Since since San Diego Comicon, when everything started to unroll with little teasers into full trailers, I see the big trend now is taking very popular songs and making them as creepy as possible to use for the trailer.
Right.
What got me was when they showed the very first trailer, was they used Duran Duran's Hungry Like the Wolf, and probably one of the more gothic style of song that I've ever heard. I'm like, I was just doing something else I didn't know was on.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that's Hungry Like the Wolf.
Yeah.
And I turn around and I'm like, oh my God, it's Gotham.
Yeah,
and I'm watching the trailer for season 2 here. Rise of the Villains.
Yeah.
It seems to be the big theme here.
Yes, it is. They do use great music on the show, don't they? The theme is Rise of the Villains, and what we're doing this season is slightly different than what we did last season. We're really leaning into the serialization of the stories. So it's not about a crime of the week, like introducing a villain and then killing that villain within an episode. We are letting these villains live, breathe, develop, fester,
run
amok, create havoc in a city. And so, I think it's a much richer, more satisfying experience. I'm really proud of this season of the show. I think we just sent out some episodes for the critics to take a sneak peek at.
And actually, I wanted to point on that too, if we could, because some of the critics of, and bigger publications, one of them being Hollywood Reporter, I'll say, it's already putting out stuff that's happening in the first episode. And you're like,
oh no. Are they?
Yeah. Like,
well, don't read the Hollywood Reporter.
Don't read anything. But one of the things I got to ask you about is they start off with, the trailers show that the Joker's coming, and they show that the Penguin's in power, and the development of Edward Nygma, could become the Riddler at any point now because he's losing his mind.
Exactly.
But they focus on you saying that you're fired.
Yeah.
So it starts off with a big bang. Not even before the villains are taken in. It's just like, this guy who was the hero by the end of season 1 is now getting, I'll try to keep it clean. We don't have to, but is getting all the crap thrown at him.
Exactly.
And being shown the door.
He's getting screwed. I mean, he's, in the category of no good deed goes unpunished. Of course, at the end of season 1, when Jim basically saved Falcone's life.
Right.
And saved the city from anarchy, and Falcone at the end of that deputized Jim to be the new leader.
Which is great that a mob boss is deputizing a law enforcement official as you're going to run the city.
Exactly, which is creepy, right?
Yeah,
Super
that
creepy.
never happens.
Yeah, and hands him the knife, that he's kept in his pocket for all these years and says, you're going to need this.
Real quick, was that knife, because he told the story about your father being the most honorable man he ever knew.
Right.
But he always carried a knife.
Exactly.
Was it the same knife, or was he just telling the story? Because that part I got a little lost at. That is the knife.
The knife, the idea is that Jim, who has always believed his father was this saint, was this, Jim's father was this revered district attorney back when Gotham was not the sort of anarchic place that it's become. And Jim, his father died tragically in front of him. That's what bonded Jim to Bruce, in the pilot of the series. And Jim came back to Gotham has come back to Gotham as an adult to take on his father's mantle, to clean up the city and be the man that he thought his father was. It turns out his father had relationships with people like Carmine Falcone, the big mob boss. It turns out his father may not have been the man that he thought he was.
He was more realistic than he was a saint.
Yeah,
right?
Well, he was pragmatic, and that's one of the stories we're telling in the series. So, you were getting back to your original point. You're seeing a lot of things being thrown out here, and one of them is that Jim, when we meet him in season 2, is at a real low point, and he has to get his job back somehow, and he doesn't have a lot of options. So that leads him to one of his few friends in Gotham.
That's one of the things when the history of a universe so well
Yeah.
that I guess unless for really older people or younger people that don't know anything about Batman are the only ones that can actually be surprised and oh my God moments for the way things happen, not knowing where you initially end up, because people know you're going to be Commissioner Gordon at some point. So you being fired normally would be like the cliffhanger or the big oh wow moment for a season finale. But this starting off the first episode with this, and then it's going to be a whole building process for you. I'm guessing.
Absolutely. And I mean, we also got to look, I understand, you know, we got a lot of criticism early on with people saying, well, wait a minute, we know the ending. We know that Bruce becomes Batman and Jim becomes Commissioner. So why are we, you know, what's the suspense?
Right.
And I have a couple rebuttals to that. The first is,
it's a television show.
Yeah, but like, you don't even need to go to television. You know, the point that the idea that just because you know the ending, you're not interested in the journey.
Right.
Is ridiculous. You know, did you watch the movie Apollo 13? They live.
Yeah.
Did you watch and go back to say.
What happened to Titanic?
Yeah, exactly. I think the boat sinks. I've actually never seen Titanic, actually. The movie.
Spoiler, the boat sinks.
Damn it. Why did you gotta tell me that? You know, but we are dealing with that sort of criticism, but the rebuttal to that is, look, watch the show. Are you entertained? Do you find it, does it surprise you?
Right.
Because we're able to do so much, we're able to pull so many surprises because people know these characters, right? Or think they know these characters. They do not know this chapter of their lives. They have never seen on screen, to my knowledge, in a non-animated way, who Oswald Cobblepot was when he was a little henchman, who Bruce Wayne was when he was a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, you're going really, really
way back.
Prequel.
Yeah, we're going to the beginnings. You know, before Bruce Wayne's parents are killed in that alley, effectively there is no reason to even have a story, right? We were all...
And depending which series you're reading, like from the comics or the movies that you're following, it was a different person who shot his parents, depending on which universe you're following.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that, you know, we've had to deal with is people, you know, take ownership over the series and or over the world, and we're glad that they do it. They have very strong opinions, but the truth is, if you go back to the comics, there are conflicting versions of this story in almost every comic. Almost every comic conflicts with another in some way, substantive way. And that's because every artist that has interpreted this sort of mythology over the 75 years it's been around does it as he or she sees fit. They have to reinterpret these myths. That's what they do. When Frank Miller made Year One, when he wrote Year One, he changed the game. But subsequent to that, you know, different people have changed it again and again and again, and that's the way it works, you know?
One of the, and you said about the criticism and that you were going to address, and I have to be a little, forthright here with you.
Sure, please.
I found myself getting into what a lot of the fans did with Gotham. I watched it, I was maybe 5-6 episodes in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I punched out.
Okay.
Now, I came back to it, I took some time and I rethought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start it again and see if I can go in with a different mindset. And what I realized is a lot of people, like you said, were complaining that you know how it ends. You know he becomes Batman. You know you become the commissioner and with the Joker and everything else. But I think people misinterpreted that being annoyed with this, that you know everything, is more that it's more you're anxious. So I realized I'm like, I wanted to get to that point, but I know there's a long road ahead here for the story development and the character development. And I'm like, all right, I know where it's going, but I don't know this journey, so I'm going to slow down and just relax with it. And I found out I enjoyed this series more by that mindset, by restarting it again.
Got it.
And getting through season 1. I think when I saw a lot of internet complaints and people, because everybody just complains.
Sure.
But I think people were more anxious and not realizing it to see Batman, to see the Joker, to see everything.
Yeah.
When they started season 1, they said, you're not going to see the Joker. You're not going to see Batman. Bruce is what, 10, 11 in the show?
12,
Somewhere around
13,
there? Somewhere in there. So, you've got years before he even starts his training and all this stuff.
And I think what we did a poor job of, and so I understand people's frustration, we did a poor job of setting up the expectations of what the series is going to be. And we also did, I think, we didn't do as good a job as we should have in terms of actually telling the story And what is interesting about this story is the world, the serialized world of these characters growing and progressing. It is not the crime of the week stuff.
Right.
And we started making those episodes, and, look, between you and me and the internet and the world, I argued vociferously against it, but I did not win that.
It was almost Gotham Law and Order.
And it should never have been.
Right.
If you watch the pilot of the series, which I'm very proud of, that would have led you to believe it was a fully serialized show. We were exploring a brand new world in a really rich, deep, complicated way. And then all of a sudden we started doing Case of the Week stuff. We're not doing any more Case of the Week stuff. It's gone. It's done. It's never coming back. So, I think if you watch this season, what you're going to notice and hopefully what you're going to focus on is how interesting this world is, how interesting these characters are, how exciting it is. And you're going to forget, this is our challenge, hopefully, you'll forget that, Bruce isn't going to become Batman for a while. Because hopefully, if we're doing our job, you're entertained.
Right.
And the Bruce becoming Batman stuff is down the line and you'll be okay with it. I think I understand where you're coming from completely. I really do. I too got frustrated at the show sometimes when we were dealing with some secondary, tertiary, possibly even made up character villain in an episode, a one-off episode, and people were like, I don't care about the Balloon Man or whatever thing.
Yeah, if it was more of I guess for industry speak, that if it was more of a B to C story with those little minor characters here and there, that I got to stop the main case, got to go deal with that, then you come back to that. I think people would have been a little bit more forgiving, or like, okay, I get they have to, because they're cops. Other things are happening besides the main villain in that town.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, I went back with a different mindset and started all over again, and then I got to enjoy it on a different level when I changed the way I was viewing it.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, I'm not waiting for Batman. I'm not waiting for you to become commissioner.
Right.
I want to see. I started wanting to see more about the mob families, and see how that built into what it did. And then at the finale for season 1, it did. It all came to a head.
Right.
One of the bosses is dead. The other one, like you said, passed the torch to Falcone. Passed the torch to. Which still amazes me as an amazing moment in television, that a crime boss tapped a law enforcement official saying, you're running the town now. So it's almost like the cops are part of the mafia, even though they're supposed to not.
Exactly.
Be their own,
and if I could take a little
identity.
credit, I had that idea. I did.
All the credit goes to Ben.
I'm just saying we had the finale and it wasn't quite landing. We had the themes were there, and I just, Bruno and I were talking. I said, Bruno, what if he knighted me? What if he?
That's that's exactly what he did. By handing you the knife, is the equivalent of, in those days, handing the sword, touching you on the shoulders. This is yours. The king is stepping down.
And what greater irony than the mafioso turning to the lawman and saying, you should run this town?
I was just waiting for him to say, I'm going to Florida.
Exactly.
I'm just going down to Miami. Deal with Gotham, send me some bagels.
We haven't shot that scene yet, but I do keep waiting for the cutaway to Falcone,
on a beach somewhere.
Coral Gables, sitting with a Mai Tai and, so sunscreen on.
Now, there was a lot of action, in the last 10 minutes of the finale, which is where everything was going on. You saw, Selena Kyle, go more towards the evil side, where she joined up with, Fish's group.
Yeah.
And then when that went to kaput in the warehouse there real quick, she took off and ran.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on with her yet.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened to Fish. She disappeared. We don't know if she's dead or not. The Penguin is now, I guess, the official, unofficial crime boss of Gotham.
Yes.
You're now tapped as the supposed law and order for Gotham.
Right.
And now with the rise of the villains for season 2, we started to see at the end of season 1, Edward Nygma starting to really lose his mind.
Yes.
And starting to get upset at himself because he's purposely leaving clues so people will notice him.
Yes.
So in the trailer for season 2, he's going crazy, which we know eventually he'll be the Riddler at some point, but we may just see his slow descent into madness through season 2. So we don't know. I'm not even going to ask you because you're giving me that look saying I'm not going to ask you. I know you're going to ask me. And then the Joker was puzzling because I was at San Diego Comicon, and then he kind of walks out on stage all nonchalant and like, oh, this is the Joker. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And they go crazy and everything. And so in this first season, they had purposely said that there wasn't going to be any ties to the Joker.
Right.
At least anytime soon.
Right.
Was this a forced decision because of the reception of season 1 that we got to put the Joker in there or people are not going to hang for season 2?
I wouldn't say it was forced. It wasn't a panic.
Rushed.
Yeah, I would say we rushed. I think what we realized, again, look, a show this big with this sort of like many moving pieces is kind of like an oil tanker. And once it's left port, you can only adjust its trajectory by like 5 degrees at any given point, or the whole thing sort of like falls over and collapses. So what we realized midway through the season, what the producers realized certainly, is that we needed to get away from this case of the week stuff and get back to the iconic people, the iconic characters, including the villains, including the most iconic villain, the Joker, in the show. But how can we do that? Technically, in the lore of, DC and the world of Batman, the Joker himself, the actual Joker, cannot exist until Batman throws acid on his face. That is actually when the Joker persona is created. So what you have you have the spirit of the Joker. You have people who could be the Joker, who might lose their lives or might go away. But what you have is this malevolent, perverse psychology that starts to infect the city in the form of this proto-Joker who is our Jerome in this case. And so we established him early on in a kind of what you thought might be a one-off in the first season. He's not a one-off. He's coming back.
Right.
And he's wreaking havoc. But I don't want to give people the wrong idea that one of the things that DC holds very dear is that, Bruce Wayne can't suddenly become Batman at age 13.
Right.
And the Joker can't suddenly, appear out of nowhere. In the mythology, he has to have been created by Batman, and we are not, we are not technically telling the story of Batman. We're telling the story of everything that led up to the creation of Batman.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. It's awesome. Just trust me that this Cameron Monaghan, the actor who plays our proto-Joker, is unbelievable. He's prominently featured in the season, and I think people are going to be very happy.
Well, I have a question involving Cameron with him being the choice for the Joker. When they were leading up to this, during the end of season 1, going into season 2, you're shooting everything.
Right.
Was there any thought that they might try to incorporate somebody to be the Joker that would transcend the TV show into any of the movies, like to keep it all consistent? Because there's a different Joker. It's Jared Leto in the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Cameron for Gotham here.
Yes.
And then they're going to be redoing the movies again.
Right.
And I'm sure that'll be a different Joker.
Right.
Was there any thought at least on the set, or were the writers thinking maybe we'd use Jared Leto as pre-Joker to keep it consistent throughout the universe?
I'm not aware of those conversations. I think what's happening is that the diversity of the sort of the way that these worlds, it's sort of the same world overall, but then the interpretations are wildly different. Like Suicide Squad's obviously very specific look at this world. And Gotham is a very specific and older version of this world in the sense that it's an origin story. So you're going back, whatever it would be, 20, 30 years before the events of Batman would take place, or at least a decade before Batman would even start. The net result is they live in their own separate little universes. Because to try to if you try to put Jared Leto in our show, you'd have to age him down, 10, 20 years, which would be pretty difficult, if not impossible. And are you sure that that's the story you're telling? So long way of saying no. I don't think that was really a serious discussion. I think that, what Warner Brothers and DC are trying to do is let each telling of this story by the talented artists, whoever they may be, who are telling each other, give them free reign to interpret it for themselves. Don't try to. What Marvel's doing with all the crossover stuff is pretty amazing, and I can't say that it's not a great way.
And that's a lot of work to keep everything so consistent.
Yeah, but what we're doing, we're telling an origin story, is sort of purposefully breaking from the quote unquote modern day versions of the story. Like, we are decidedly not in the Chris Nolan world of Batman. Clearly, like if you look at the show, both the production design and the sort of, the old school, like TVs and phones and cars and everything we drive and the clothing and everything, from a visual standpoint, as well as from a literal, like, we shoot it differently. We shoot it like an old school movie almost. We shoot it, it's much more composed. It's much more sort of pretty and kind of, it looks like a noirish kind of a story.
No, it's great
on
because
purpose.
a lot of the stuff, because it's a dark, gritty city. So it's very dark a lot of the times, raining, which is another, industry technique of really making things spooky, make it dark and raining. But when you do show color, it's very vivid.
Yes.
I don't know if it's methane in the air when it's green and pink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they do the wider shots and you're seeing those like really powerful, vivid colors in the sky, it almost reminds me. Do you remember The Mask, Jim Carrey?
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
Right. When he was going into one of the areas, there was a methane lab or something like that. But the skies were very vivid, and I'm seeing the same thing with Gotham here. That's the only comparison I'm seeing.
No, that's fine.
It's just the way they do the colors. It's like there's no medium range. It's either really dark and gritty. Your suits are always gray, so you don't stand out. Everybody else stands out around you,
right? But
your character stands out instead of your look stands out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he should be Humphrey Bogart, and the people around him should be, Jim Carrey in The Mask or whatever. Everything is, not that we're all geniuses and we don't make mistakes, but everything is certainly purposeful from a visual standpoint. There's a lot of both rain and darkness as well as smoke, which gives you this kind of, mysterious aura around you. And then the color, when it comes in, is very purposeful.
You're venturing more into Arkham this season?
Yes, we are venturing more into Arkham. We're also venturing. I can't say another thing.
Okay,
yes, we're venturing into Arkham. Yes.
Okay.
Arkham becomes a breeding ground for these villains. I mean, the sort of the theme, which I think is very relevant to where we are today in our country, is that by locking these people up and putting them all together, guess what? It not only doesn't rehabilitate them, it actually allows them to work together on the outside if they are able to
get out,
to get out, and it makes them worse. If you put one maniac in close proximity with other maniacs, guess what? They all become worse. They all become even more villainous. So we're having a lot of fun with that, and Arkham is prominently featured.
Also in the season finale, we saw pretty much the full decline of your, I guess, ex-fiance now.
Yeah.
With Barbara. Is there ties to her madness with other villains in season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Just was wondering because I sense that she might be palling around with somebody.
Yeah. I think you can.
Not somebody that I think you would prefer her to hang out with, but it seems to go that way.
Yeah. No, yes. She has her share of fun, and I don't think I can. I think I'm giving a huge spoiler away in the sense that she's up to no good, and she has some friends to join her on that journey.
When you did San Diego Comicon and appearances and things like this, is this the role that you're getting recognized most for now? Because I know you had a big fan base from Southland and also the OC,
right?
When you were on there,
yeah.
They starting to more come up with you for Gotham than for the OC?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a mixed bag, but yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing with a series like this is you have to, if any series needs time to kind of catch on, and B, and I completely understand this from the fans' perspective. I think there's a way when you've got these sort of, it's Batman, so it's going to be a hit no matter what. We don't even need to try. People are going to watch regardless. It becomes, people can sort of be distrustful of it. Right. They're like, well, wait a minute. They're trying to sell me this thing. I'm going to experience it as I experience it. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And so what we needed to get back to was just making a really good show and not trying to satisfy this group or that group or check this box or that. We need to make a really good show, and we are making it. And I'm proud of last season, but this season is, I think it's easily, 30, 40, 50% better. I'm serious. I really think it kicks.
Just say 100%.
I can't say 100% because to say 100 would be, we were at, almost zero before, just to say we were really.
No, you were at 100% last year. Now you're at 200%.
Exactly.
Where
right,
I'm going.
I have to be realistic with my percentages. I can't do the Yogi Berra stuff.
So this is where, because I looked back and I saw all these nominations and awards you got for being the sexiest man under 25.
Oh, thank you.
Or the Teen Choice Awards.
That's right. That was
Hold
last
on,
year.
I have it right here.
That was last year.
You were ranked number 5 in Independent Online's 100 Sexiest Men Alive.
What?
You were hold on, let me read it to you. Twice appeared on Teen People magazine annual 25 Sexiest Stars under 25.
Thank you very much.
You were also voted one of InStyle's 10 hottest bachelors of the summer.
Oh, please.
And
please, go
countless
on.
nominations for Teen Choice Awards.
Thank you. I was nominated many times for a Teen Choice Award. I don't believe I ever won one. Very disappointed. Deeply disappointed.
Well, now it's season 2 of Gotham.
Yes.
I'm expecting a Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Award where you'll go up and accept the blimp and get slimed.
I would love that.
That would be awesome.
I have slimed. I slimed the Olsen twins on the Kids' Choice Award.
Well, everyone should slime the Olsen twins.
I mean, you know.
But you're going to get slimed, which is a good prediction for you.
I love that.
I'm expecting maybe you're going to jump up on the cover of People.
Oh, okay.
For the Sexiest Man Alive there.
Oh,
Still got time?
Well, you know what? That would just tickle me pink.
It would put you up in great company. You're right up there with, George Clooney, Patrick Swayze, Brad Pitt.
Yes. No one ever heard of them again.
I know.
Well,
but that's that's the best way to end your career, isn't it?
I'm not going to hold my breath for that to happen, but if you think it's going to happen, I believe you.
And I'm very comfortable in my sexuality, sir. I can say that. I see these things happening for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Also, real quick, I didn't get a chance to see this, and I was having a hard time finding it because I wanted to watch it before you came in, but Johnny Got His Gun is your first independent film.
Yeah. Well, not the first movie independent film I ever made was Junebug.
Sorry, your first starring role.
But the first, that was it's based on the Dalton Trumbo novel of the same, and tiny little production. Probably made the whole thing for like $50.
Right.
But
sometimes those are the most entertaining things that you can watch.
It was fun. In the 80s, the book was translated into a one-man play. And it was performed in New York. Jeff Daniels actually performed it, if I'm correct, when he was just starting out in his career. It's one of his big breaks. And so a director approached me about doing this again and filming it in a black box theater without an audience, kind of Spalding Gray style. And so I would have to learn an entire one-man play, hour and a half of straight monologue, and then we would film it over the course of a week. It was just a challenge I couldn't, help but embrace. It was so sort of daunting that I felt like I had to do it. Proud of it. Again, keep in mind we made it $50, but an amazing piece of literature that I did not actually grow up reading in high school, although most people did. And so I came to it for the project, read the book, and felt like it was very sort of resonant in terms of what was happening in the world. And it was good to understand what soldiers go through when they come home.
Well, I haven't, like I said, I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to keep on the hunt for it because I definitely want to see it. I'm running out of time here with you, so 2 quick things before you go, if you could. Number 1, so in the season 2 teasers and trailers that we've seen, there's the Riddler, there's the Joker, there's the Penguin. Is there anybody else you can tell us as far as who we'll see as far as the villains go?
Mr. Freeze may make an appearance.
All right.
Firefly may make an appearance.
That's great.
There are a number of other ones that I can't share with you, but I would say that...
So we're not even done. They're just touching the surface on this.
I mean, I would say in this next season alone, I'm going to take a guess, because again, we've only shot about a third of them, I would say. Already, I would guess you're going to have another half dozen to a dozen iconic villains that you have not seen yet in the second season alone.
This is going to be a great Christmas. All these action figures to come out.
Exactly right.
The last thing is Sean Pertwee.
Yes.
Who plays Alfred on the show.
Yes.
I am a huge Doctor Who fan.
Oh, yeah.
So are there people on staff, or do people still come up to him thinking, well, obviously he's not his dad, but like wanting to talk about Doctor Who and about who his dad was?
Yes, I've done a fan convention or two with Sean, and he is constantly.
He put out a photo last Halloween where he was dressed up in his dad's outfit, and people went nuts for it.
Yeah, well, Sean's a great guy. He's become a good friend, and he is very proud of both the Doctor Who and what his father brought to it. Obviously, his father was instrumental in turning Doctor Who into Doctor Who. And so he welcomes it, and it's kind of a great thing. I mean, it is a little foreign to me. I hadn't really aware of Doctor Who, but I hadn't really gotten into it. So now I'm sort of going back and checking it out again.
You need to go back because I think
there's only like 40 seasons or something.
50 years of the show, Ben. But
Sure,
his
watch
father's
it starting-
season is actually intact. You can get all his episodes.
Is that right?
If you go back and just watch a handful of them and then watch Sean on set, and you go, "Oh my God, now I know where
Same.
you're getting this from."
It's amazing. Right?
Yeah. All right, just something to do.
Okay, all right.
When you have time off and you want to binge watch, check out
Okay.
some Doctor Who if you can. Season 2 of Gotham, it starts Monday, September 21st on Fox, 8 p.m. there. Definitely check it out if you want to binge this weekend. Season 1 for Gotham is out on DVD, Blu-ray, iTunes, Amazon Prime. There's nowhere that you can't get this.
It will be on Netflix starting September 20th.
You don't have that much of a life. Plow through this weekend and be right there on Monday when Season 2 starts. You don't want to miss this, and you're going to want to see everything that's going on. Ben Mckenzie, Detective Gordon, or former Detective Gordon, thank you so much for your time, man. Next time you're in town, I'd love to talk to you again.
100%.
All right, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man.
That was my mistake.
I love that, guys.
Basically, what happened was I pushed delete A.
All right, whatever.
because I'm
It's
nervous.
It's Erik Nagel. Here's the music, and play the music, Ben. Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. Matt O.G. Gittles Bass is here, and our friend, comedian Alli Breen is sitting in as well. She's been rather quiet because she's been lost, and we've gone way too far down this rabbit hole of nerd and tech culture that she even tweeted out, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I got a little lost there, but it's been fun.
All right. Thank you to Ben Mckenzie. We just spoke with Gotham Season 2. September 21st, which is a Monday, 8 p.m. on Fox. Definitely check that out. Next week on the program, Katrina Bowden will be on the show. You know her as the hot blonde girl from 30 Rock. I'm sure she has an extensive body of work, but that's how I'm going to refer to her right now.
She was in Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
The hot girl from 30 Rock.
Oh, that was her? Oh, okay.
That was her.
So I never watched 30 Rock, but I did watch Tucker and Dale versus
We'll
Evil.
be on the show. Another guest on the show next week who I'm very excited about, and I know Gittles will be. H. John Benjamin will be on the program.
That is awesome.
If you don't know that name, you should, from such exciting programs as
Everything.
H. John Benjamin Has a Van. That was one of my favorite shows, and they only gave him a one-season run on that. But also a little show called Archer, Bob's Burgers. Maybe you're an old-school voiceover person. Home movies. He was McGurk in home movies. But he was
Spaghetti
also
Time.
in Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist.
Yep.
On the heyday
He
of
was
Comedy
in,
Central.
Wet Hot American Summer. And
He's in. I just started watching the new series on Netflix. I watched the movie, and then I just watched episode 1. Is he doing the David Hyde Pierce role?
Watch.
You're going to have to watch it,
gonna
Eric.
have to watch.
I'm not saying anything
I'm not
else.
saying anything else.
Because there's major spoilers if we say any other word.
Okay, all right. So I'm excited to watch this. I just started episode 1. So you should
Finish
check it out
before you're in it.
Yeah, seriously.
right.
I still have 4 episodes left, and I'm loving it. It's so good.
So good.
It
I was
looks
so happy to
amazing.
finish it.
It has everyone in it.
It has everyone in it, and it really is just like taking place in the same universe. It's so
Insanity
perfect.
ensues.
So you're saying add this to your list and watch?
Yes. Immediately.
Okay. Also, I want to give a couple of quick shout-outs here to my friend PewDiePie. When he's not working on his own YouTube channel, he subscribes to us at It's Erik Nagel on YouTube. That is a lie, but I just wanted to work that in. Also,
does he give narrations of our show?
Pew pew, this show sucks. Also to KR Dragon on Twitter, he's been a longtime fan of this show and tweets every now and then when he's watching and all the stuff that he enjoys. So hi to him. Also to our friends at the Bennington Show. Who give us lots of love each and every week and plugging our guests and what we're doing. And I do have to say, one, follow at Bennington Show and then use the hashtag Bennington. But as far as SiriusXM goes for on demand, and including my own show, I don't use the on demand. But when I do use the on demand, I'm downloading Bennington.
There you go.
So, shout out to them, and thank you so much for their support. They do an amazing show, Ron and Gail, and of course, no relation. Moving on, I want to talk about this fat shaming thing here, and I think if that's right on line 1 is our old friend R.
It's R.
Hi R.
Arr.
Lisa Correa, how are you?
I am great. I'm in San Francisco, and there's no fat people here.
Surprising.
Nicole Arbor was there first. She got rid of all of them.
Everyone's riding bikes and walking and jogging. Everyone's healthy.
You're not upset that Alli Breen's in studio, right? I told her she couldn't sit in your chair.
No, Allie, don't sit in my chair.
I'm not. I'm in my own chair. Your chair's all yours.
No, Allie's my buddy. She can sit in my chair.
Thanks,
Lisa wanted to talk about the latest news with the fat shaming thing that's been an ongoing story with Opie and Jimmy this week.
Absolutely.
By the way, go to youtube.com/Opie Radio or at Opie Radio or at Opie and Jimmy or at It's Erik Nagel. All those have the links up there for Nicole Arbor's call into Opie and Jimmy talking about all the backlash and everything that was happening to her involving her initial video called Dear Fat Person or Dear Fat People. And it had a response video from, what's her name? Whitney Way Thor from the TLC show Fat and Fabulous. And then to pile on top of that, Opie and Jimmy had a response to her response to the fat shaming video, which is also available everywhere. And so now we found out today that Nicole was fired from a movie that she was working on because of this video. The article I'm reading here off Fox says, Canadian comedian/actress, and I know we'll stop right here because this is where Lisa has a problem with this story.
I'm so angry that they're calling her a comedian. She's so not a comedian. Just watch it. Just watch the video.
Okay.
And you'll see, I guess, well, I hate to give her another click on her video, but you can tell that she's not a comic. If she is, she's so super hacky. And to me, like, fat shaming should be saved either for a good comedian or, like, your loved ones. Those are the only people who are allowed to make fun of you if you're fat.
Well, Lisa, why don't you plug the, you shared a link with me, Eric, and Brian earlier today so that they don't have to actually watch Nicole Arbor's video, but they could see most of it with that epic overlaid response by, what was the gentleman's name? Sean
Halpin. Sean Halpin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comedian Sean Halpin made a very funny response video to it, so that way you can see hers like interspliced with his response, and it's great.
And then that way you don't have to give her another click on her video. That's the loophole.
That's the way to see it. I agree with that.
To the man or woman in this case.
No,
as a former fat kid, though, my brothers used to fat shame me, and that did help me get in shape. But again, that's just for loved ones.
Well, we kind of were talking about this a little bit earlier, and my thoughts were that mixed in there, right? I think she probably had some sort of good intention and maybe even some sort of, but she just went about it in such a crass, nasty, degrading way. Like, parts of the message I think were okay. She just didn't deliver it in a way that was productive at all.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. She's just not funny, and it just came off as mean.
Right, and at the end, we were talking about this, she had the right message at the end, but it's so funny because she says, basically, you guys are fat and disgusting and I don't want anything to do with you, but I just want you to be around longer. I want you here for longer. It made
so
no
I can
sense
continue
at
making
all.
fun of you.
Yeah. You're giving me great material.
She wants the fat kid on the plane that she had to literally hold his fat up, if you've seen the video. She wants that kid to hang around for a little bit.
I just want you here forever.
It comes off very
insincere,
disingenuous.
Yeah.
Lisa, let me ask you. You said it comes off as being mean and not funny. Now, if it was funny, would people have changed their tune as far as what she was doing?
I think people would have changed their tune. I think that it would have been probably a debate between people who are PC and don't want to make fun of anything, and people are just like, let it go, it's comedy.
I think
so
what it comes down to is just...
been a discussion.
But I think that the people are probably just really upset because it's someone who is like... in the media's eyes, a traditionally like beautiful person of like this skinny blonde girl just calling people fat, which is just there's nothing funny about that. I don't know. Like I think there's probably a way you could do it in like a funnier way, but I didn't really laugh at any of it. It was just all very degrading, and I don't know. I, as a former fat person myself, I did not find it to be very. Encouraging.
Did it come off as just if you think she's good looking, we'll say for argument's sake, hot chick, right? So it's like, does it just come off as a hot chick yelling at a fat person?
No, honestly, it just came off as someone nasty yelling at it.
That's how I felt.
I didn't even feel like she was just insulting to like humanity, like in general, like just her.
It really
her
was.
approach is it was just nasty.
It's literally like if there was an alcoholic, just put down the bottle. What's wrong with you? Like it wasn't really, relating or saying that there's any complex problems with humanity. Like it's what everyone's responses have said, basically. There were no jokes. It was just a complete, angry, mean rant for no reason that summed up everything by being like, but I'm so nice. I love you guys. I wish you'd hang out. I mean, it just made no sense.
Yeah, rant is a good way to describe it because I couldn't tell if any of it was like pre-thought out or she just turned on the camera. I mean, obviously there's some production value to it, right? So she made a conscientious decision to make the video, but like, I don't think she put a lot of thought into it at all. I think she really just thought she had something to say. Because she went on so many tangents as well. It was
all over the place.
It was all over the part with the Smarties. What the hell was I watching?
And then when she sings in the middle of it, did you hear when she just all of a sudden cuts to like, oh, it's like, just shut up.
Well, that's that jump cut YouTube generation kind of thing where you can't just make your point and have a discussion.
The ADHD generation.
Things got to cut around. You got to have graphics and stuff flashing and music.
It's the Family Guy effect.
What?
Just cutting away?
It's the cutaways.
It's the cutaway?
It's the cutaways.
Oh, I thought you meant like, having a big tank and then, with balls with different scenarios and manatees were, fixing out the storylines.
Now you're comedy shaming people.
She should be comedy
I'm sorry,
shamed.
South Park.
I like there was one point where she tried to be self-deprecating where she was like, oh my God, a blonde is telling you guys how it is, right? It was also the worst. It's like you're not telling anyone anything.
No, it was, I don't know. And then, so let's talk about the firing real quick. So she was hired to be a choreographer in a movie that was about bullying
of a fat
with
girl.
A kid who was overweight. Like, in what world did she think, hey, I got a great idea? Like, how did she see this playing out? Everybody's gonna love me? Like,
She just got so tired of choreographing. She's like, fuck these fat people. They just don't want to dance.
and the director is just like, I'm like, I'm gay and I've been bullied and I've been shamed, and like her message is the exact opposite of everything that I want to portray in my movie. I have no interest in working with this terrible person. Like, she's dumb. That's it. It really just sums it up. She's just a moron. I hate to say it, but
he even says, I was so upset I was shaking like Shelley Duvall in The Shining. Come on, could there be any?
I did appreciate that quote. I'm not gonna lie.
Too bad it didn't end the same way.
I mean, there's ways to do things, and it's just not the right way. I mean,
she clearly wasn't trying to send a message. She just wanted some attention for her YouTube channel. I don't think she was trying to do any good for society.
Well, that YouTube video cost her a professional gig.
Well,
working on a film,
I don't know how I mean, it's a film. I don't know how professional because it says the director said. I'm making a dance movie, so obviously we need a choreographer. We met with a woman who not only did traditional dance choreography, but was a cheerleader as well. She was fun and nice and had a lot of energy. Arbor told me she had a YouTube channel and identified herself as a YouTuber. She seemed like the perfect fit for this project. I shared the script with her. She said she dug it and was excited to come on board. And then he went and watched the video, and that's where all these horrible comments were coming through here about her fat shaming. And it says about the movie, it's a body positive teen dance movie set in a retirement home. Already there, you lost me. This sounds horrible.
Well, you're not the target audience.
Definitely.
A teen dance movie in a retirement home.
That's a hard target audience to find.
This sounds like something Ricky Gervais would have done with Derek.
Yeah, exactly.
To be funny, not as a serious plot to a movie. It's about a 16-year-old girl who dreams of being a cheerleader, but she is constantly bullied for being fat. She learns that she doesn't have to change anything about herself to be awesome because she already is.
Well, not according to Nicole.
According to Nicole. So there.
But his excuse too was he said that after watching the video, he said Arbor's video really hit home with me. I'm gay. I was bullied a lot as a kid. I am no stranger to ridicule and loneliness. Now, okay, fine. You are being bullied people get bullied for all kinds of things, but are you going to throw the gay thing in with the fat shaming thing to make it legitimate?
Well, no, I think it's just to compare. I think he's just comparing bullying and
I think
how
he's
it's
just
all
identifying,
bullying is that. Yeah.
Just bullying in
Because I
general.
think he's putting, the fat thing and being gay being on the same level, which it's not.
Well, maybe he was never fat, but he has to has to say like that's what he can relate to.
He can relate to bullying in general. Yeah,
And it is, it's on the
that's what he's
same level. Anytime you're making someone feel bad about, something about their lives, that's all he's saying. I think that he relates to that.
Yeah, it's clearly she makes poor choices.
Has she defended? I haven't heard her response.
I have not heard her response, so I don't know what that is.
Well, we tried to get
YouTube did take down the video, supposedly, like for a day, and then she did come out and say she was being censored, which if YouTube did that, I don't agree with that, because I think that opens up a Pandora's box.
Norton made a great point the other day when she was saying about her video being taken down. And he said that they have ISIS videos up there. They have beheading stuff. Even though they'll take it down, they have a lot of graphic, cruel stuff up there that a fat-shaming video is the one that everyone gets all bent out of shape about and gets censored. So if you're going to have all that other stuff up there, you got to keep her video up there too.
But a lot of people are saying that like she took it down as claiming she's trying to be more of a victim of this.
Right.
She's taking it down, saying that they censored her so that more people will feel bad for her because she's an asshole.
Right.
Well, she is an asshole then if she took it down.
What I'm saying.
She's creating all this nonsense for no reason. Oh, man.
That does seem more likely, though, because the chances that YouTube would take down a video like that doesn't actually have anything reasonable. I mean, it's a shitty
YouTube would have
opinion,
never pulled that normally.
No, they would not.
That's not on their list of things to pull.
We're going into overtime here. I didn't realize how late it was. I do apologize. Alex in New Mexico, real quick, what point are we missing here?
You're missing the point, too, that she wasn't making fun. The joke is it's all for YouTube hits and money, but this one thing she did put in the video that no one seems to mention, and Jimmy mentioned it, so did Oak, is that she's not people with medical problems, people that are lazy. It's, you got everybody hating on her, but,
But did she say that? Did she say that after the fact?
No, she said it in the video.
Okay.
But Alex, I'm not missing that point. What I'm saying is her message is wrapped up in a lot of horse shit. She chose a bad way to deliver her message. Yeah, great.
That's the thing. It's not a message. It's what she's doing. Is she's doing exactly. She's getting what she wants. She's getting her YouTube hits. She's getting her YouTube money, and it's national news.
Oh, yeah.
She lost this ghetto little low-budget movie that obviously sounds like the biggest crock of worst movie ever made. She's going to make way more. Plus, they pulled her entire YouTube channel down.
They did actually do that? That's for sure?
The entire channel down. So you can't pull your entire channel down off of YouTube and then put it back up. You can't. It's not possible. I had a YouTube channel, and I pulled the old one down. And then I was like, I wonder if I can recover this and put it back up. Gone. It's all gone.
Okay.
Only YouTube has the power because it's on their server to take the stuff down and then put it back up. You can't pull a whole channel and just reinstate it like nothing happened.
Well, I don't think YouTube should have done that. I mean, that's
no, not at all.
And that I'll agree with you on. But I think her message, I think maybe she sort of had an okay message. She just had a poor delivery. And look, she did it for clicks and she got the clicks that she wanted, but she can't be upset at the fact that the court of public opinion is against her. Like, I don't know what she expected.
No, she shouldn't be upset, and she didn't sound like that on the Opie and Jimmy interview. But the big thing is, too, everybody loves South Park. There's far more offensive stuff said on South Park. It's been how many? Like 17 seasons of fat jokes.
Yeah, but there's a difference, though.
It's a joke. That's what I'm getting at. Her video was made to be a mockery and a joke and get what she wanted out of it.
But South Park is funny.
South Park is satire.
Yeah, and it's actually good jokes. Hers was just not. It wasn't funny.
I thought it was funny. I don't see the problem, and I think everybody needs to just get off their high horse, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. Just leave people alone, let them do their own thing, and you enjoy what you like, and I enjoy what I like.
I don't think it should have been pulled down. I agree that if YouTube did that was the wrong thing to do. I don't like it. I won't watch it. But I mean, I don't think I'm on a high horse. I just don't think she had a good message.
No, not you guys.
I know. But I mean, if someone shares my opinion out there, I don't think it's a high horse. I think it's a bad message.
Alex, we're over time here. I got to run. Thank you for your call, man. I do appreciate it. I just want to get over to Ralph in Canada here. Ralph, where in Canada are you?
Hey. So basically, the whole reason her video got pulled down was because so many people flagged it, and they can't monitor every video that gets flagged. So when it reaches a certain amount of flags, it just gets pulled down automatically.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, and then they review
So they
it, and they
didn't,
decide to put it
pull
back up.
down, per se. It just, got deleted, and then they realized that it got pulled down for no reason, that it didn't infringe on their, why they pulled down videos, and then they just posted it back up again.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
All right, Ralph, thank you so much. That makes sense. We do have to get out of here. We are definitely in overtime. Whew. Got it. Just never mind. Anyway, Lisa, you're still on the phone there. Give out a plug for what you're doing out there in San Francisco.
Okay, I'm at the San Francisco Punchline tonight and tomorrow with Josh Blue.
All right.
Oh, nice.
And then when are you coming back to New York?
I'm coming back on the 21st.
Okay. So we will see you in a couple weeks.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Lisa, thank you so much, hon. Have fun out in California, and we'll see you when you come back.
All right, thank you guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
See you, Lisa.
Allie?
Yes.
Plug your goods.
Vancouver Comedy Mix next weekend. Indianapolis Bonkers weekend after that, and Breen Screen on Twitter.
There you go. Instagram, too,
and
right?
Instagram, Alli Breen.
There you go. Gittles, what do you have?
Gittle Base on the Twitter and Instagram, and then a week from Sunday is the Brooklyn Lobster Takedown at the Royal Palm Shuffleboard Club. So if you guys want to come out, you live in the area, you want a whole bunch of lobster.
Lewis, you going to that?
Yes, I am.
All right.
So it should be fun. Come on out.
Matt OG, I throw it to you.
Yes, Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram, bkgeekstuff.com for the podcast, and I'm part of where we talk about more geeky shit that I can go into here. And if you're going to be at New York Comicon in a month, booth 129 is where I'll be hanging out. I think some of the guys from the show are going to be hanging out there as well with us throughout the course of the weekend. So stop on by, hang out, say hello, have fun.
And thank you also to Yoann-Karl Whissell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
We spoke to him and the whole crew pretty much for Turbo Kid earlier. Go to Facebook.com/TurboKidMovie and also support their Indiegogo venture. You can get a lot of cool stuff out of that. And check out the movie Turbo Kid on demand. iTunes, Amazon Prime, all that stuff. DVDs and Blu-rays coming end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year. Next week on the program, who else did we have on here? Mark Rob.
Yeah, Mark.
From Funko with their brand new Star Wars official
box.
Star Wars Smugglers box, smugglersbounty.com. Subscribe to the yearly if you can. If not, they have a monthly edition as well. You can do that. Also, Ben Mckenzie, Gotham Season 2, September 21st. It's a Monday, 8 p.m. on Fox. Please check that out. Next week, Katrina Bowden from, like we said, the hot girl from 30 Rock and other projects. And H. John Benjamin, which I'm very excited about. I know Gittles is as well. Woo-hoo. From everything under the sun that you could voice over, he's done it. And maybe one or two extra guests next week as we sort everything out. It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Please follow, like, and subscribe to all of those. We put all the interviews up there and everything that you missed here. And if you want to hear the whole show, SiriusXM on demand through the app and online. I think that's everything. Am I missing anything?
We might want to mention again that we're going an hour earlier next week.
Yes, starting next week, 6 p.m. Eastern. Because if you show up at 7, we're already halfway through the show. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. on the West Coast there. They're moving our time slot up an hour. We're still 3 hours, but we're going 6 to 9 on the East, 3 to 6 on the West Coast. Tomorrow, we'll be at the Epic Rap Battles of History show at Webster Hall in New York City. So if you're going down to that, come down and say hi to Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, and we'll be down there as well. If you recognize us at all, say, hey, I've heard of your show once. Okay?
That'd be nice.
All right, so we'll be there, and then we'll back next week.
Nice.
All right, until next time, everybody, be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along. We'll be back next time here